accountants and maybe the principal spending officers. I'm sure gradually it's catching up in Ghana very soon. Certain promotional interviews will be asking for, your audit report, maybe external or, internal. The security organizations, the security agencies too, the investigative bodies too, sometimes, ask for our reports, with the new government coming in, certain reports, they'll be asking for reports, to know which areas those of us in the agri place, fighting for food and jobs and all those most fertilizer and those things. So they'll be called ROCO, Office of the Special Prosecutor, CID, they go through the process, the normal process. Some of the times, the internal auditors are mentioned in the issues. So then we picked up to help with the investigation, and then you have to make available some of these reports. So those are the other interested parties of our reports. Making tool for improvement, because as internal audit, our report is supposed to add value to the organizations. So whatever you do, you must make sure that the results we are churning out is adding value to organizations. That's why today we want to look at really what it entails to have an effective audit report or a good audit report, and then the components. But we'll basically look at how the process, because it's an end result. There's a process that will give that result. So we'll just go through the process briefly, and then we'll zoom into the reporting. The purpose of the internal audit reporting basically is to provide assurance on the effectiveness of the internal controls in the organizations. Management have put in controls. We need to tell management that yes, the controls they put in place are working, they are adequate, and they're effective. They are working. We need to tell them that yes, these controls are working. Or there are some weaknesses, there are some gaps that you need to tighten. So the internal auditors don't establish internal controls, but they only recommend. So as internal auditors, let's not force management. This is the internal auditors. Let's not force management. What we do is recommend. When there's an issue, you just have to show your report that, I did recommend, and then the investigator will let's leave you. But if you don't recommend, then they'll add you to the issue. Because that's our job. We need to recommend to them that there's a weakness here. If your scope that you are doing is part of it and you didn't recommend, that means that it was strong. So we need to be careful when we are also reporting on those things. Then the risk management. It looks like in Ghana, in the public service, internal auditing has been, the risk management is like part of it. But those in the private sector, I think it's separated. Compliance, rigor, those in the banks, you have internal controls, internal audit, rigor, and compliance, and all those things, risk management. But those in the public sector, mostly this risk management is also part of it. So you need to also look at that, whether really they have identified their risks. The organization must identify their risks and make sure that the controls to mitigate those risks are working or they're in place, and then see effectiveness of how this risk is not reducing, because we don't want the impact to happen. The likelihood of this risk happening shouldn't, to be minimal. Or if it shouldn't happen at all, or if it happens, the impact, the consequences should be very small. So we need to report to management that yes, the risk system that is in place, the enterprise risks and all those things, controls are working, and then the impact wouldn't be, unless one day we hear that Bank of Ghana made a loss on the 1.8 billion on this gold for oil, where were the internal auditors? They couldn't, these days, you have to add value everywhere. You have to look at those, systems and those things that they are doing, and then add value. So that at least, though there's a risk there will be a loss, but it should be minimal, or shouldn't really have dire consequences. Then governance, we need to really also report on governance. Are the structures working? The various positions, the various, reporting lines, the organogram. Is it being respected? we need to report on those issues. Let's not be always on finance. Yeah, it's a risk area where there's money, there's always risk. But sometimes you also go through the governance areas to see whether really the structures that have been put in place are working, whether really the organogram has been approved, the organogram is really working. Sometimes the organogram is there, but really it's on paper. It's not really working. The span of control, the head, how many people are reporting to him? Highest 5. But sometimes you have somebody have 8 units under them, 10, 15 units, and you realize that supervision is really not effective. So all these things must really come out in the report. Then you communicate your findings and the recommendation to stakeholders. You have to inform the stakeholders about the issues that you've really come up with. And then those that need corrective actions, you state them in your report, and then management now can go about it, in a very nice way. You do follow-ups. So at least you remind them that this recommendation has not been done. While they are delaying, they report it to the audit committee or take it to the highest, body, so at least they try to, enforce compliance. Then you drive in improvement. So audit is to drive improvement, accountability. When there's audit, there's accountability. The internal audit is supposed to do quarterly audits, so that at least every quarter, once you don't do the audit, things will happen. They are human, we are all rational. We're human beings. Even in the church, things happen. I do church audits. So even in the church, the fuel coupons, the fuel cards and those, but I realize people are going to the station and taking money. So even in the church where they are spiritual, things happen. So please don't think that in our organizations, but let's really look at the control processes so to stop some of this. Sometimes it's very loose. There are some gaps that people fall on them. Then compliance. We need to also make sure our laws or regulations that we have govern our institutions, organizations, the procedures, the manuals, the guidelines. Some people are talking, so if I have to do a meeting, some people are speaking. I can meet them. So the compliance, the guidelines, the directives, the manuals, all these things are supposed to be followed by organizations, the institutions. So you need to make sure that the SOPs, all those things are being followed. So basically, a great audit report tells a story backed by facts and ends with what? A call to action. So make sure that you are telling a very nice story, people understand it. In Ghana, we're able to tell analysis story. So the report should tell a story, and then it must be backed by facts, evidence. When they call you to look at those things, and if you report the issues and then you cannot find your fact, then you see how you be sweating. It means that you are witch hunting. It's why are you witch hunting? This one is the corresponding flipping your files. I don't see anything. So please look at those.
I know it's not like
Get
this.
the facts, have the evidence there, and then the call to action. So basically, this is agenda. We just look at the proposal. And then we can report on them. And we look at the reporting formats. The IIS standards, Internal Audit Agency, being the regulator for the public. But sometimes the private institutions, some of them are also affected. Submission of this report.
Hello, Richard, your microphone is on.
Members, can you all put off your microphones? Because if I'm the host, but I'm also presenting, so I'm not able to mute people. So please, let's keep our mics off. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll start with conducting an audit exercise this morning. Let's not do the procedure before we get to the reporting exercise. So we'll look at the key planning stage, the execution stage, and then the reporting stage. The last one I've left is the follow-up. That completes the process, the follow-up. Once you finish your report, you still have to do follow-up. But this morning, we'll just take up the follow-up and zoom into these three things. The audit exercise. These days, you are being pressed upon to use the risk-based internal auditing, because one of the days when you are going to accountancy conference and then the accountants have refused to release your money for the conference, that you just go and do a cash audit or cash count audit. So we want to stop all these small witch huntings and then emotional auditing and base our auditing on risk issues. So the organization must have their own risk register that they have determined that these are our risk areas. As auditor, you go to the risk areas and you pick some, and then you plan that this year I'll be doing this audit, because it's their own risks that they have identified, and you are going inside there to see the controls they've put in place. Is it working? Is it strong? Are there gaps? And then you recommend collective actions. But then you can also do additional audits when you think that the risks that they have identified is not all. There are big ones that, those who work in the hospital sometimes realize that the lab, there's some risks in the lab. So you not be focusing too much. And then, the operation room, there's some risks also there. So you don't be too much on the blood banks and then the finance and other areas. So you have a risk-based plan, work plan for the year that you do. But sometimes you could also have some assignment minuted to you. Issues you have, these days, people petition, people write letters, we have client services and they write letters too. So maybe your chief executive or your spending officer can minute, an area for you to really, do some investigation or do some verifications or go and do some fact finding. So that could be a minuted assignment to you. When you go to an investigative body, the first they ask you who commissioned this audit. So please, let's not, if it's in your plan, then you should based on my work plan, it is there. Or have a minuted assignment. If it's oral, please go back to your boss by email or a memo that can you somewhere. If you need to do something and you don't get authorization, or the committee is there, or the committee's chairman is there, so you just talk. Make sure at least there is a source. But once you can't determine the source, the advocacy bodies also think otherwise. Because you don't like it, and that's why you're intentionally going into that thing, and then that a good report spoil it, right? And then it's not going anywhere. So let's have a source. Then audit notification. Let's go to the DT that you are coming. There's your objective. There's your methodology. You don't say, but at least you say so. These are the areas you are coming. These are the books. These are the documents that you need. There are surprise audits that is there. It is there. There are some audits you can't even do cash count. You can't give notification. By the time it is through the surprise audit, but there's most audits you can notify them, and then you agree on time to do. It looks like I'm off or sharing turn off. Okay. Doesn't why sharing? I think I picked the wrong one. Is okay then? Okay. So the notification will go, and then you fix the time. This day I'll be coming to start the audit. I'll end this day, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. Then you have to do environmental scanning. So before you go to the place that you want to audit, at least please go around to see what the issues that are there. Because sometimes audit is good to have a tip off. It makes your work very good, or somebody, get it. But you have to do it very well, very professional to, get, the area if you are going to a school, at least get to know the people that work there, certain documents, previous audit report, a good place to start. The previous audit, they know the findings that were the issues that are there, and then the industry that it is in, what are some of the issues in that industry. So you have to do some environmental scanning before going, and then have a preliminary meetings, with the people. Very good to have a preliminary meeting with the people. Sometimes internal audit, there's some small antagonists with the auditees, but sometimes we need to go above that with some soft skills, and then meet the head of departments. We are going to audit the department, meet the head of department, see what are some of the challenges that they are going through, and then the rare engagement with the auditee will then begin the audit. So basically, this is a very good planning stage that we can, go about it. Auditor works with the contracting individual to determine the scope. Sometimes you need to determine the scope with them. You have your own plan, everything, but sometimes it's very good because you are adding value. What they are doing, you need to speak to the head there, maybe you want to do up to some places. Say, oh no, this is the situation. Can you go beyond this? Or our books are not in good shape. 2 months, we've not done that one. So can you end this year? But you are the master. They suggest to you. So you have to look at it. And as I said, we have to use a lot of soft skills too in doing our work, because our work is for them to take decisions. So don't do the work that you go and just gather dust on the shelf. If you finish the report, shelf now that means nothing has been done. That is the reason why we need to look at all these things. Prepare the audit strategies, the checklist, and the audit procedure. You don't look, how do you go, interview, how many people you have to interview, the documents that you have to check, how many contracts are there that you have to review. At least it gives you all those things to know. Then you have to do a very nice plan. Maybe you have about number of days that you go. Here's an example of a plan that I did somewhere 2017. I think we're going to the central region, the health training institutions. So we have the 1 week pre-departure of work, obtaining the information document. You have to get the admission list, the admission requirements, the tokens that they give to the schools and all those things, the releases and all those. You have to get those details. Because when you get to the institutions, you can't come back for those things. So you need to do all those document obtain, then create a current file. As an auditor, have a permanent file, current file. We'll come back to that. Create the current files, Then you go to the institutions, the health, when you go to the region, you have to visit the regional health directorate, talk to them that you're in the region. This is your mission. So when something happens, they can save your lives. When something happened, they say, but you came in, yes, entered, and you are doing your own thing. They don't mind you. So we need to look at all those protocols, a lot of protocols. You can go to the office, they'll delay you 2 hours. But it's always good to pass through them, and then, meet the personnel there. They might have challenges. Sometimes they have issues. Then they'll give you some key areas that you can also zoom in. Our work is very big. So when you go there, sometimes there are some procurement issue. You will get some tip off, and then when you get there, you know the right questions to parcel. Is it okay? Then we'll have the number of days, 21 days to do the work, and then you divide what you do procurement, the number of institutions that are there, and then how many days you spend there. Then you have the day for your draft report, then agreed responses. Those who just joined, if you can mute your mic, or say Daco. Yeah. Or say Daco, can you mute yourself? Okay. So basically, you need to have a time for compilation of working papers. To these days, it's very good because these days the regulators, some of them comes around to check our working papers based on the findings you have. What are the, so sometimes you need to have your photocopies. If you think that sometimes doing a photocopy in front of auditee is not really good. So you have to be very strategic. Maybe you have to take it on your phone, a picture, then when you come back to the institution, you print it out. Because sometimes or sometimes you can have a copy of this. It's always very, very good. If you know that, you can have a copy of this document, this report, can I get a soft copy? Always good. So at least you can build that kind of, system where you think that, so sometimes the situation is very, dicey that you can't just get up and photocopy. We think, hey, I got it already, and you scared them already. Already there's tension all around. Then there should be an exit conference. There should be an entry conference. There should be an exit. Let them know what you are taking or whatever you found. Let the team know so at least they can. Don't wait till you go and sit in your office after a week before you bring the draft report and all those. Let them know this A, B, C. So sometimes they can give you the response orally. What really happened? They ask, can you put this in writing? Or later when I bring the findings, then you put them in writing. So very good to have an open and exit. But if the open and the open is very difficult, the head of the department is not around, the accountant is this, they will keep you tossing here and there. So you can also be waiting to the end, but you can start and then make sure that at the exit you can do the opening, and then but the exit must always be there to help our work. Then you divide the job that you as a planner at the various institutions you go, whatever you do, the areas the focus areas that you really, the auditable areas, where you touch on, you list them down very well. Don't put it in your head, you forget. So you list them, who is to do what, and then you keep rotating. You don't have to, if there's a team, don't let one person do, no, that's also a control. You have to make sure you be changing small. Then the team leader must be reviewing whatever that they are doing. Then the entrance conference, which is very key. Let's have an entrance conference. It's very good to have it. If you are going to audit a unit, a department, at least have an entry conference with them so that they know what you are coming to do, even though you won't tell them all. There was a little bit surprised. Lawyers always surprise most, so that was something it to be there. But let them know what you're going to do, the scope, your objective, the areas, the documents. One or two you can ask, you didn't tell them at the beginning, but later on you can ask for a particular document here and there. And then the auditor then takes control over the meeting, the scope and all those, let them know the rules, who is the liaison person that you need to get to, and then take them through the approach that I'm going to use. First, I want to learn the system that you have in place. Then based on what you tell me, I'll be using it to audit and see whether you're doing aside the rules, the regulation, the procedures, the SOPs, standard operating procedures and all those things. Then you start the field work. After you've done the entrance, then you start the field work. It's very good to have a place where you can sit and work. But sometimes there are certain individuals, you need to move to the office to have that interview with them. Maybe you like to call them. Sometimes when they are with you, they can't answer the questions very well. They are fumbling. So you have to go to their office, sit there with them, and have them have access to all their documents that they can fall on. I don't want to do an audit, then come back, oh, this thing is there. Then it's like, so we have to watch, some CEOs, some principals, or this head of department, you go to their office, having your questionnaire or checklist that you need to do, then ask them the questions, every document that they have, can I get a copy or can we have this? And then we go to review it, and then later it's sent to you. Auditor performs the audit, often with the workers, the team or the unit you are working with. You can't do it alone. You need to work with people. So please, let's have the soft skills still. Be firm. After that one, you have to be firm. But let's not be too, so the auditors have squeezed their face. Like, no. Let's, calm it down, You have to use a lot of soft skills. So, I remember when I started auditing, the way I was, with my suit, tie, mistake, Charlie. If you give me my banana and can't count you. But with time, you can, relax more and then, report on the facts you are fine. As a detective, look at the facts that are there and report. Sometimes there's some small innuendos and chew me now. Yes, and when feel me and those things. Let's leave those things out and just report the facts that we see. If the security breach is fixed when found, still report on the breach. Sometimes maybe you are doing IT system, there's a security breach, but they fixed it. Still report on it. So it serves as a documentation for future reference, and authorities to know that there was this security breach that they later on fixed. So that if the supervisor is not checking it, but there's some too you can jail and so as auditor, some of the things you can also let go. But things that you think can be repeated, can have an effect later on, let's bring it out. State it there. Even though this happened this day, that it was fixed, it closes the report, but at least it's a reference point that, hey, some things happened. Sometimes you see the T4 say, Yifrim, where the Yifrim, look at the circumstances of the Yifrim. If it's something that is repeatedly occurring, then that one you can't just take it out. We want it to be documented for future, Some too, you can take it out, but don't forget it in your working document. It's there. So when you go to, yes, I came across this, it's my working document here, but they told me that they've done that, that's why, in my discretion, I left it. But it's still in your document, but don't throw it away. There's some too, you have to shred it. Then the approach, let's go to the approach that you communicate what is required to them, collect the evidences, then all the documentations where you have to do photocopies, get copies of the things. Let's do it. Complete the audit report, look at the gaps, solutions, corrective actions to be done. Sometimes you need to get this from the auditee. Sometimes they have the solutions, but maybe manager overruns, or sometimes one or two key people is not allowing some things to work. So sometimes they may know what is right to do. So let's not always come back and then give some recommendations that will be difficult to implement. Discussion, let's always discuss with them. Some of the findings, let's discuss with them. Yeah, you've seen it. They can't go and change it because you've taken your evidence already. Like, this thing happened, that what happened? Sometimes we are scared that maybe they'll go and change it and then we will not have a report. No. Take your evidence, and then ask them, this stores ledger, this physical quantities, and then this is not matching. What happened? Let them know. Then, sometimes maybe they issue it out, they forget to update their books and all. They'll go and find out. So by the time maybe you finish audit, they might have, gotten a solution to it. So I don't be reporting items not routed to stores. Items not routed to stores. That finding, I don't know. Still routed to the stores. Unless the item was not bought, then that one is not routed to stores. The item did not come. Then that was a different finding. But if the item came, just that it didn't pass through the books. Don't walk through, let them sit down, let them, let them do it, let them put it through the books and then issue it and then do it. It's more better than kind of putting the report and later on that 3-4 months that it has been done, but then work. If the person is stronger than you, then you go to the person's boss to make sure he enforce them to what, do the correct thing before you leave in, the teeth. Document required, as I said, a lot of documents are required for our audit, ensure the previous reports, policies, procedures, and all those things that you need to do your work. You have to look at those things. Some people, they go to audit with the findings in their head. No, don't do that. Don't put the findings in your head before going there. At least know the documents.
Environmental auditors, the findings
that they are using the regulation. They use it to audit the questionnaire. They'll tell you, yes, we do this. How do you do this? What do you follow? We have this regulation. We have this code of ethics. We have this. Then you use that to audit them.
Discussion.
Those online, is a slide moving? Is it moving? It's still. I think there's, okay. There's okay on the top. Okay. Where is this? Okay, I can't find it on my Zoom. It's not showing the slides. It's not showing the slides. No, they're okay there. Should we continue? I should continue. Okay. So some of the policies and procedures that we have, the quality assurance, administration, the HR manuals and all those things. Some learning program, delivery and evaluations, the learning entry guidance, supports. So a lot of it, SLAs, service level agreement, service level agreement, purchasing and all those things. We had that ECG, they have their own procurement, even though we have the national PPA, they also have their way of going to procurement. So you have to get all those documents and look at where you think you have to do some changes, it is done, review related documents. Sometimes there are a lot of related documents that you need to review them. Is there an assessment plan template? Is the template used? Are they using the templates or they are doing their own thing? Some will be using Excel. I have to find out whether this Excel has been approved or is it on its own using the Excel? Because things can be changed in Excel, so you have to find out all those and then give good recommendations that can strengthen some of the use of the software that they are using. Results and then recommendation, audit expectation, identify that failed to meet the audit criteria. So you look at the things that failed, the criteria that are there, or the procedures, the manuals, the things they are doing that doesn't conform to whatever the regulations were saying, whatever the manual said, whatever the code of ethics said. It's in the mitigation recommend to reduce the loss, or the recommendation must reduce them doing those things. The root cause. Why is an audit exception? Why is this audit exception? You have to find out why this is happening. So I want to call the root cause. Ask 5 whys. Why this? Why? So sometimes let's ask the team why they are doing that. Because under the root cause, our recommendation must address the root cause, not the finding. Because if you address the finding, it will still be happening. But let's get to know why that thing is happening. Maybe the manner that is there is archaic. So it's not really fit for purpose. So you need to recommend that you rather change, the manner, not the individual, but they'll keep rotating, shifting the people, and they come and do the same old things. Then the report preparation. After you have gone through all these stages, then you have to come and sit down to do the report, include your scope. Sometimes your scope could change on the field. I went there to do AB, but if you are taking stock, even though I'm doing January to 31st December 2024, I'm doing stock taking in May 2025. So you can't get a stock, but you have to do a physical count. So some of the things might change. So you need to really look at the scope. Because that's where the lawyers will go and check, and then they'll just discredit your report because your scope will not match the content. I mean, that happened before. Sometimes you forget, let's scope, then you just do cut and paste. But these lawyers are very critical. Oh, but you said this, but your scope, you've gone beyond your scope, and that is not done. Once you have a scope, you have to stay within your scope. Once you go beyond your scope, so you have to always come back and adjust things, the purposes and all those things when you are reporting. Even though at the beginning you have all those scope and those, sometimes it changes slightly on the flow. Sometimes you want to do 3 months, January to March. The accountants' PVs are not ready for March. Please come back to say, I already did January to February. Because something happened and you have captured the March, that means you did the PVs for March and you didn't see some issues. They only adding the corporate to add it to it. Is it okay? So make sure you come back. So I was not able to do for the month of March, but I did up to February. So when they are limited, it's always very, critical in all this. And developing the technical write-up. So sometimes you need to sit down and develop some of this technical write-ups, what the organization does well, what the organization needs to do better. And then if system administrator patch the hole, mention that. As I said, it's not everything that you need to really get it. What do they do well? Sometimes very good because you can't go to a facility, they fail to do this, they fail to do this. In the whole year, they'll feel very bad. At least give them some small credit if they are doing good filing. Some people are very good in filing or arranging their documents. When you take the ACT file, at least it has arranged it nice. So when you are flipping through, it makes your work easy. You can give them small credit. Even though auditors, we are not supposed, we like what is wrong or what has not been done well or what is abnormal to report on. But sometimes these days, let's give them, some credit or some of the good things that they are doing. So at least then you hit them with the hand. Sometimes you give some small, then you bring the other bad ones inside the system. Organize the finding in a logical way. We'll look at how to do the findings and write the executive summary. After you have finished your findings, before you do the executive summary, it's very good. Most of our stakeholders can't read the whole report. It's not possible, but at least the executive summary should give them at least all that is in the report. So at least some of them will just read that one, then they are okay to do with it. So we need to really look at this executive summary. Your report must be written professionally if it is to be credible. Please, let's have professional report. It means take away emotions, take away things that you can't justify, things that you didn't get evidence for, you suspect. Then go back and get, or then you create more work for yourself. You put it in a column whereby I couldn't really go through this, so that would be a subsequent work. I wanted to report must help us to do other more reports. So you can always put it there, and then that's what the lawyers do. They always do things and then create job for themselves more and over. But don't put it there and don't have the basis, to back it. Let's make sure everything we put there, we have the evidences, and the things are aware that I've told them that this, let's use email. These days, some of them don't like answering, they're not responding. So, you give them a hard copy. Dispatch book is there for them to sign. Some will still not sign. Then you go and give an email. When you go, the lawyers ask you, oh, then he didn't respond. Did you give an email? Well, when you have a trace to show that at least you send an email. So sometimes, because we are learning, some of the things are difficult. Very, very difficult. Stop bankers, especially when they are colleagues. Yes. Very, very. You can't say they pass. So you have to find ways of means to get to them. Even WhatsApp cry, I'll send you a WhatsApp of it. So at least, because for the lawyers, that's what they want. Evidence is the game. Once you do that, they also they know that so they also would like to, in the exit conference. It's very good. As I said, the exit conference, you need to really communicate findings to the entire team. Don't meet only one person. Some auditors go and meet the accountant alone. Let's stop that habit. Let's ask the head. Or when you go to a place, ask the management team. I know in our culture, we like one-man show. It's really, I'm the public service, so sometimes, you go to a whole department, who is management, who is deputy, who is the governance issue. So you need to report on it. But that will make the thing work when there's governance. But when there's no governance, a one-man show, they know that there's issues. But know how you also report it before you go and create, any material like they transferred you, go ahead. So you don't know how to report those things and make sure that the management team is there. If there's no management team, it's a finding. Every department hasn't got, unless maybe in that institution they have not, but every department must have a management team, so at least at the exit conference, those teams is there. If you do stores, expect that the store person should be in the procurement person is there, the transport manager should be there. So when they hear the things, at all the times they don't bring them, ask. So they bring them. Sometimes They don't do, but our colleague professionals may not. Sometimes our accountants don't even invite the internal auditors when there is external auditors who come. They don't invite, but it's wrong. The person auditor must be there, all the various, to hear what is going to be done. Then they all help for the system to go over the executive summary first. Just tell them the executive summary. Then you go to to let them have a copy of your draft report if it is ready. And there is it. Sometimes it's not ready, but if there are observations, you can also raise observation to them, so at least they can also follow it. Amend the report after the meeting if there are information. Arise. Sometimes auditors fail to amend the report. Sometimes you are saying the thing is black. I'm sorry, the blue black, and you check it. Then just amend the report that okay, yeah, this is blue black. But verify. If you have to verify before you amend that one, they verify. And then when they give you an information, we have this thing there. Please check that this thing that they are saying is there, and verify that you put it there. Stay out of argument. It's a discussion. It's a finding you for. As much as don't argue too much as an internal auditor, as an auditor presenting a report. No. Once you argue, you spoil the whole thing. Don't be argumentative. It's just findings. When you argue, means you don't have the evidence. That's why you are arguing. Ask why or what is the cause. They ask questions. The best thing is ask a question. Don't argue. When they say this, how did this? Can I get a copy to review? That is the way you go, and then you have a healthy, then you report to management after the as a conference. You have to put in their responses here and there, and then you have a time to report to management on the issue, so management can take corrective actions on all the things that they have. Some of the meeting pointers that don't take too much long, 60 minutes, be brief, don't beat about the bush and all those things. Dress very well, additional recommendations. Then we zoom into sometimes there are some special areas that you need to also do. This is the main audit report, but sometimes you have to do some investigations, some verifications, some inspections that bring a report. So there are some items that these days just don't go and do and come and sign SRA or come and sign receipt books. No, you have to get a report because you don't know when these days with our political system and with issues, you need to really, they bought rice somewhere and you're in storehouse somewhere, you need to really get a report. The state of the warehouse, how it is, and all those things. Hence, I am sorry, the audit to read. So basically, an effective audit structure report of this kind should have an executive summary. It's always good to have an executive summary telling you a bit about all that has happened, especially the finding, the recommendation, and if there are any deviations, you add it to it. But at least the finding must be there. Where the scope change small, they can talk something small about the scope. Then your objective and scope, please let it be there. It's always good to report to have objective. What did you set out to find? It must be there clearly. Answer which chanting. The objective that you want to go and do, you want to make sure that procurement is done according to. I want to check that there is value for money. All those things, you just list them very nicely. Then the scope, where you are going, where you are going to start, ending the months and all those things, the area, the departments they are going to go through them. Don't just say, no, at least be specific. The methodology, how you went about your work. But somebody will use the lawyers will use the same method to arrive, or the investigators. They will try to use the same method you use, whether they can arrive at the same finding you got. So you must make sure you state, let's stop the cut and paste. Those days when we started, we have been doing cut and paste. We shall report about cutting. No, make sure that what you really did is what you put there. Then the findings.
The way of prefer.
Minor responses, as I said.
Head of audit or Minister of Finance. MoFA again.
Let's try to make sure that the minor responses are there in written. In written responses. Yes, as it you can take oral. Your one person is writing the minutes, which is admissible in court. As I said, some people are very cantankerous or written reports. So you can have your minutes as we are doing the exit, whatever responses are coming there. When you meet them, to responses are there that you can use, but let them respond to the findings. Send a reminder, mostly 10 days. We give them 7 days, 10 days, 3 days to respond. Sometimes it can take a year. There are some reports, you're also not trying to, release the report, but you need to try and then at some point put the management failed to respond, and then you issue it. Then conclusion audit opinion. Sometimes you need to conclude because you have seen black. Management says it's blue black, and you still think that it is black. Then there must be you must state management, decision. Then you can come to the conclusion. That one there is your own opinion. Then the audit committee or those that either they will do further investigations or they will come and say, okay, they agree with the auditor, or no, the auditor is wrong and we will grade management. So you must have a conclusion. I like to have a conclusion on every finding, not a total conclusion of the report. Because there are some areas that one or two, so I'll conclude on the finding. If it's okay and the okay, observation were duly noted, we'll come down, I'll leave no conclusion because I reject it. But where they have, contrary issues, then it means you have to conclude very well, state your audit opinion on the issue. We think that this structure is missing. It can't be accounted for, but they are telling you MPB, no, but you still want to, so you can have your conclusion nicely. To also go by a title introduction. Is it okay? It's also accepted. The title of the report, the introduction, objective, scope, methodology, how the evidence was gathered, and the finding, clear, factual, objective, and risk-based. You put them nicely. The recommendations should be actionable, prioritized, and then linked to the finding. Management response, comment, and then action plan for the auditee. Sometimes you need to ask them how they are going to implement whatever recommendation is given them. Sometimes rather that the recommendation is there, management doesn't want to do no. So let them give you an action plan. That is the way we're going to we'll write a memo to finance, then the HR will follow up with this, and then you give the timelines nicely, and then conclusion always comes, summary judgment, and overall assurance opinion. That may be the work controls are working, they're satisfactory. Steps in concluding, conduct an investigation, you develop a theory of the case. Sometimes you are called, something is missing. The cocoa board has issues, so you have to go and do. So you need to develop a theory of the case that, or some of the whistleblower has brought an issue. So you need to get, some story behind the case itself. So you have to develop, based on the issue that came to play, one or two people, if you can get the one who complained, it fine. Sometimes they leave their email. They can write to them, I want this, can I get this further information? Sometimes you need to write, if it's a fuel card, sometimes you have to go back to Vivo or to get a printout, talk to the station and all those things. So you have to get a very nice theory, identify the source of information that you need to get to able to do that investigation, interview some witnesses. You need to get people, the drivers that fuel the cars, the transport manager and all those things. You need to talk to people who are critical that particular case, and then request for documents and data. You need to request for that document. Some requests must be a memo. There are some requests they can request, bank statement, but some you must make, because the auditor can go and lie. And sometimes this bank statement, sometimes they can give you another one, but another real one. So make sure you have a trace that you requested it, and then they give it to. So all these things, once we are growing, we are learning some of all these things that comes out. So you have to get some have to write a memo, maybe to the superior, the financial controller, then the accountant can provide. Maybe have different accountants. So you write to the FC that you need this particular bank statement, this reconciliation. Sometimes they can give you the reconciliation. When you get to the Iroko, they have brought a different one. It's not the one that you see. But sometimes, as an internal auditor, sometimes you can put your initials or your mark on it to see whether, the files that you go through, you can also initial and all those to make sure that at least when they are changing it, they think to it. Then you organize and assess the evidence that you get. So once you get all the documents done, some of the things they will throw you off. Some stories that you hear, any case in here, so you have to throw some away, But when I say throw away, not that it is still in your file somewhere, but at least it's not a part of your, your build-up, but it's really out. You not use it, and then you organize it chronologically, sequence when it happens, or if you interview 10 people, first, second, third, fourth, you list them nicely, whatever they said and all this. Then you determine whether a law has been violated. So you have to see, based on investigation, yes, there's been a breach or this law is violated. Then you give it to the people who can then declare that there's a fraud on those things. As auditors, we don't do that. But then, this has been, then you leave it there. Don't go and say this person has stolen. No. He couldn't account, or he signed for this money and there's no returns or something. Very nicely, you polish it and then you don't create problems. State allegations. Sometimes you need to, as you prepare your investigation report, you state allegations chronologically, begin with the substantial allegations and then those that are unsubstantiated. Some allegations are a lot, small things. So you have to tell them those that you think you have evidence to show that yes, scan or the man or sign for, then he took it, and then those that you cannot really, substantiate because yes, they said the driver and this, but really couldn't link it. If they have more evidences, then they can, present, analyze, and discuss the facts that you gathered. You can analyze it nicely, sometimes with tables, graphs nicely, state the facts supporting allegation, then the facts refuting. Don't be one-sided. Make sure you state both that support and then those that don't support. And if the facts are state the complete expression. Don't wait to go to court or no. Let's be fine. Just state their version that they said, even though you have a video, somebody can catch them on video. The store warehouse, there's a video, they are sparse and go and take something from the store, but then they are lying. Just state what they are also saying. Even though it's not report, at least let's try to state their part of the version that they said. Let's leave the court. Sometimes it ends up in court. They will then determine whether the organ is correct or not. The purpose of the investigation, you need to get the purpose of the investigation. It's always good to document because it's good to have something that was done about it kept for future, reference or for future records. Another person can pick it up, help them to do another work. The inspection process. Sometimes you're going to do inspection, you've done warehouse. Sometimes we have some farm or irrigation system. You have to go and do inspection. We come to the PV and pass it. It's not good to do that. You need to have a report kept there. Beside, you can have a copy attached to the PV, but at least have a report on it because we have stopped signing PVs. I've stopped, putting because that led you to the issues. So I had my own paper to read. This is my report. So based on, I'm assuring you, based on my memo or what I've added to it to sign, So I've written to it. I've indicated what I saw. The warehouse is not. This is that. There's no lock on there and all those things. So there are risks there. So if you also want to go ahead and deal with all those risks, it's on to you. So organize a team with a team leader to. It's not good to do one person inspection. Sometimes you have seen that they're able to. I don't know how to put it. Confuse the person or able to dribble him or influence him. I think they will influence. But when there are two or three, sometimes. But if it's only one person, so as a head of audit team, try and put a team in place, plan the inspection. Sometimes you need to plan how to go, unless you are going on, but then realize there's a block that has about because you have to follow and make sure that you plan it very well. Safety and all those things are put in place. So the people that are going with you are not people who they know what they are doing. So they can easily do you harm. So you need to also plan very well, prepare the deficiency and the final draft report. Lead inspector notifies the company at least a week before. So sometimes you don't come to a place, people are not there. You go to the site, nobody's there. So you need to notify the contractor, the consultant, and all those things that will be coming this day and all those. Sometimes when you tell them, they don't rush to site. Unless you want to surprise them, that one is different. Because sometimes they are telling their site, meanwhile they're not on site. So it depends on what you want to do, but very good to notify. So when you get there, you get somebody to take you around and show you the places. Re-inspection, team arrives, manufacturing license. So sometimes you have to check when you get to the place, check manufacturing license, site information file. You have to get the information, the site file. Don't just go to the site. Look for the file and go through. Sometimes you see some things hidden in there before previous inspection report. It's always good. The dangers they encounter is they're not supposed to go close to some heating system. Body. So you have to be very careful some of these things. And then the product dossier, maybe you're going to verify a product. So you need to get the product dossier, the manufacturing badge, and all those things, and know something about it before that you go. So our verification is no more. We're going to sign. No. You need to really get some details. Prepare the audit plan and then aid memo. Always have some notebook that you have put some things. Because when you get there, you forget. Sometimes the things are not there. You say sweet things, but then you realize, all that you want to do, you've forgotten everything. So make sure you have an aid memo that you have put the things that you do on paper. Or maybe you have a paper that you've staple, that even though you are chatting, you still be looking at what you're supposed to do. And yes, when you come to the office, I didn't check this. I didn't check that. They're very good at that. They know. They are very good at that. They know that they have to, so they bring people who are skilled in all those things. Then they'll bring some stories. Those days I put some more down, the water came, flooded the place, but I realized, dodgy will cry. Then inspection proper, you meet the people, introduce the members of your team, brief discussion, visit and gather updates on the companies pertaining to the plant operation or whatever that you're going to do. Inspection proper, you do the inspection, you look at the SOPs, complainant files. Sometimes you need to look at some of their complainant files and then self-inspections and then internal audit reports. When you go to a place, you can also try to ask internal audit reports and then go through them. Walk through visual inspection, see the size of the facility, and we'll go through they can mention a very huge size. But when you go to the field, size and there's good Google map and all those things. You can ask for all those things, location, and by the time you have sized the farm before you get there, so you know what to expect. Employee practices and all those things, get them. Good. Now we'll zoom into the working papers. We need to really get working papers when you are doing your work. You need to have the permanent file, the current files, and then you gather evidence. Audit working papers. Sometimes you have a questionnaire. So you want to go and administer a questionnaire based on their SOPs. You want to walk them through. Or sometimes you want to do an interview, know what they do, and then based on what they say, you look at them. All these things are documents that you need to put them on paper in your file. Some of the things to do, a checklist that you have already, or something, a template that you have prepared with them already that you take to the field that they will fill, and then they will sign. Some will refuse to sign, but you can put his name there, the time you spoke to him, and then some will refuse to. So you can expect that. But at least speak to them, whatever response they do, they give you, put it on paper. It's all good. You can't force them. You can even ask by force they should bring the former finance minister to but he come and keep quiet. He won't talk. He won't give you any information. They can invite you to Roko to assist. You can just keep quiet and not speak. And still, they are forced to take you to court, and then so you can't force the person by forcing you outside. No, it's soft skills and all those things. But at least you can take your evidences that you need to, and they're always good. But the second one is equally also, the best. Permanent file. Sometimes you need to have a permanent file. These are files that things that are there don't change. They stay for a very long time. So this file is only one, which may be with the organization or the internal audit is there. And then when we are going to the field will look at that file, parent file, what are the things that are there? Example, organogram may be in the file. Strategic plan can be in that file, but it doesn't change often. Some strategic 5 years, 3 years, or nominal rules and those sometimes they change. People leave, retire, and those things they'll be current file. So those are the engagement and all those things that you go through and make sure you establish a file, permanent file. Put some of the things that you collect on the field, you put them in the permanent file to save. So another person, maybe you believe the same thing, I'll go the next year. Another person will go, you go and check that file to at least do some scanning inside before going to the field. Some contracts stay for a very long time, a 5-year contract. So to be in that, parent file, or there's a project manual. It will take, the project is maybe 3-4 years. So all those things are what to be in the parent file. So our current files are do today things that will change, from one audit to the other. It easily change. So that are the things that you keep. So after that audit, you put those files. They will not be needing it for anything else. When you go to the client office, they give you a reconciliation for monthly reconciliation, those things, and you have copies. It changes next year, it may be the same thing. So those things have been kept in the current files. So you order them. Internal auditors have a way. They have the A, B, C, D, A1, A2, A3. They put them in very nice. What would be financial documents are there, contracts and all those things. Things they review. The reviews they do, the teamwork that they do. The spot observations and all those things. Spot report backs. They bring them all those things. Then gathering evidence. This is key. We need to gather evidence. Our work now is very critical these days. Because you hear reports, the Chief Justice issue, you hear audit reports coming in. Those the accountants will hold the audit report in their home. They don't want anybody to see it. Those are some of the issues, because some people see the report, they can use it otherwise. But report is report. Those who have to see it must see. So yes, don't put it somewhere that those who are not entitled to reach, but at least internal auditors, them, some management staff must see those reports. If you are doing procurement, you have to get a procurement plan. All those are evidences. The minutes, have they been approved? Did they go through ETC and all those things? You need to check all those things. And these are all evidence gathering. How the tender opening and all those things done. Because you don't know where your finding will come from. Because sometimes the finding will come at the end, because you see the finding, this have gone wrong. But you need certain chronological evidences to meet that finding. So let's go through. If you forgot to take a copy, go back and ask for that doc. Sometimes they will toss you. I know here and there. But we gave it to you. Why are you coming again? They say, no, you need, that particular, documents. Let's ask the questions that we need to ask. And where they give answers that speak of certain documentation, let's ask for it. Certain evidence. If it's just a mere response, let them write what they said to you. If you can put it on writing for me, just kindly put it on writing so I can add it to my report and then that will be done. So the evidences are very key. Photographs. Let's not forget, we have our phone. The lawyer told me, "I have a phone. Why don't you take pictures?" But see, I have a phone. He could have taken pictures. My Lord, he's not taking the truth, because he could have taken pictures. So please, let's use, evidence. Let's take it. If they think you have doctored, this you have the word doctored and all those, that one, leave it to. But let's get those evidences and put them on file. We are going to do inspection. You can't do an inspection with that in the picture. That one, it must take it. Let's have those pictures. What do you think? Is the lock, or the room is not, maybe you go to stores, untidy stores or unarranged. Yeah, let's have a shot of that thing. This is where it's. They can come and say, "Oh, it was well arranged." And by the time you go there, it is well arranged. But your picture, could show how, and all those things. So these are evidence. Let's not, have a finding without an evidence, it's not accepted. Let's try and get some evidence, if you have to do an interview, you want to record it, let the person know that this, I would like to have a recording, let the person know. Don't record. If you record without him knowing, then you don't have to bring it out anywhere. There are some places that is very difficult to let the person know you're recording. But if you do, then it's for your for your use, for your sole use. Because when you take it out and you also say, no, you didn't ask. So they'll just throw it away. But sometimes you need to come back, play it, and then, do all those listening and those. And let's make sure that every document that is given to you, we have a way that we have your black pen or green pen, those, auditing, you make sure you initiate the date you review it. The filing must make sure it is numbered. When they give you a file, it must number. If it's not numbered, state it. Because if you don't state it, they will go and put something in the middle. And they tell, but when you gave it to us on file. So make sure you let them know that the filing is not numbered. Then you state there your filing, because they'll use it against you. The filing system was not, not well numbered or not numbered, and this. So at least when they go back, you know that you stated somewhere there. They are very smart, so you need to up our game. So everything that we do to really get it. If they give you short copy, that is also good. Through email, if it's pen drive, and if they can give you through email, WhatsApp right there. But these days, this fly WhatsApp too much, so it's not advisable. But let us see something coming from A to B. But why you need the thing very critical, maybe is Excel. I want to analysis and the person is tossing, that means you have to go and get it. So because that will help you to do your own auto. So it means you still have to get it and find a way of putting it somewhere or letting your superior know that you got it. Or the person has a superior or FC. I had to present my pen drive to the accountant this to get it. They give me a copy. That will serve you as your backup copy. Because these days they are really smart. So basically, that is the working documents that you need to get. Every finding must have an evidence. If you can't get it, it's pictorial there. You have your phone. Man, you have a phone. So if you need, you should take a picture, nicely. I don't know what that picture you need to ask the person's consent. The lawyer here. I don't have a picture taken that you need consent, but there are some places that you need picture. American Embassy. I am changing it to you. So you need to find out where the American Embassy, you can take pictures. There are some places that are not authorized to take photographs. So you need to ask for authorization. Unless they say, who authorized this? The lawyers that like to spoil things, they just invalidate whatever evidence that is there, that you didn't, So reporting format, very key that we have a very good reporting format to value to organizations. That is very key. It's very key that you need to do. And this is a very good outline for an audit report. Very, very, very comprehensive. I've talked about some. Could be scaled down, but third, there must be a cover page. Our reports are too white, so they don't attract management to read through them. So if the auditors say, please change this white, but if it is, sometimes change is difficult. Auditors are supposed to be changed. That's why we audit. They're supposed to do change management. So audit must make sure, you do change management, and whatever you do is causing changes. But that's why we go in audit. The audit will bring new course of action, and that will bring change. So let's have a very colorful, cover page that will attract people to. If you have to bring, if you are auditing KTU, at least their front gate, the gate, can be over there. Maybe a building, an iconic building on campus, can be there. Some, something nice that will change. The introduction. There must always be table of content. Some have title page. Aside the cover page that has a title, they will have another title page. But it depends on the aesthetic. They will want another title page before the table of content. Let's have a very good table of content so people can just go straight to the. Because not everybody needs everything in the audit report. somebody needs a particular finding. So I have a very nice table of contents. These days, you can use the word to do it nicely. When they click on it, if it's a PDF, they just click on the content, they go straight to where they want, and then they read. Then you have the executive summary, very key, because not everybody will read the whole document. Sometimes you have a whole 100 and something pages. You know, everybody, the executive summary, a page or two is good. Sometimes half a page. The smaller, the better. It must contain the things that the one who is reading want to know or must know. The introduction, you need to introduce the report. You know, you can just start the report. No, you have to introduce how come about this report. Oh, this is part of our quarterly audit assignment that we do, or our routine audit inspection, or this is minuted from the Chief Director, Audit Committee Chair, or this is a recommendation from a previous audit report. That it must always have some introduction. How come you are coming about this report? Very nicely done. In the background, not everybody understand what you said. It must be a background. If it's a project, when the project started, what is the project funds? What are they supposed to do? What is the scope of the project? I think it says something about the thing that, or the department. The department has a dean. It has a head of department. They do accounting. So when you are reporting that you found dressmaking machines in the department, then they understand what you are talking about. But sometimes we don't give them the background. Give them enough background. Enough or enough, it depends on the audit. Enough background about what. So when they read the findings, they can understand, oh, okay, maybe there are some regulations that they need to follow, state it, or there are some laws, how they were set up and all those things. That is in the background. Then the scope, which is very key. Let's get the scope. You want to do the audit. You know where you started, where you ended, the various departments you did. Get the scope there. Where there's a change in scope, please, as I said, come and revise it. You know, you started to do January to December, but either one, stores, you have to do some stock taking or head count. So you have to use the current, you know, so you have to stay down there. I had to do some head count on 15th, you know, or I did some stock taking as at the time that you went there, or I did some cash count as at, even though your report dated some years back. Because when there's a finding, unless there's no finding that they don't have a problem. So make sure that if you have to, then the purpose, the objective, why this audit? What is it seeking to achieve? You have to put the purpose nicely there. Because our investigators or the lawyers will attack those things too. They will not attack the finding. And then the finding there, you got it. No, you want to see on the findings. They'll be hitting. Just to discredit, oh, this report, I think they are talking. Don't even go to the final. They know that one, don't beat you there, but then they'll look at the other areas that you failed to do. So let's get those people. And key management personnel. Let's get the key management personnel. If it's a department, what are those key management personnel there? Let's the names there. So I will know the issues. Sometimes we list names and the people involved are not there. So let's now look at, if you are doing the whole university, then you need a university management. But if you are doing a department, you go to a hospital, deal down with the hospital, who are the management in that hospital, so at least we concentrate the issues. Where they refer other things to, maybe then they can bring those people as additional management. That maybe they refer something to board, or they got board approval and those things, you are verified, you know, the minutes and all those things, then you can just bring the okay. Then you go to the audit team. Let's know the audit team that did the work. Because as the head, most of the audit, I don't do it. I will sign. So make sure the audit team, his names are there. Unless, let the audit team that did, you cover them. That is true as the head. But let you have the team who did the work. So in case you are fumbling, they can go straight to the team to get the nitty-gritties of the team that did the work. So basically, that is then the methodology. You need to tell them how you did the work. Let's not forget the approach. Some call it approach. How you went about the report. It's not there. Hey, no, you're not talking. You need to let them. So he will make sure you go through what you said you did. You must get the same finding you got. So let's put a methodology there. Don't skip some. Sometimes when you go, you change it. What you plan that you do, when you get there, you changed. So make sure you do, okay, I had to interview A, B, C, D. I did system review, that. We administer questionnaire, this, that. We reviewed document A, B, C. Let's put, I know it's a lot of work, but sometimes it saves you. You know, when you meet the file, you realize that, I mean, it did grow. But let's put how you went about it. Let's do. There's some results. Sometimes you need to put some of these results. Some results that you can put them in pictorial form. Somebody would like to go there and just take it. So maybe you want to talk about a project, the releases they got, the donor funding that came in, how they spend key expenditure. So a very nice table, and you put it there. It's a very good finding. Than to say, accountant has not, no, that one is good. But let's give them a very nice summary, a finding of a particular issue. You go to the department, maybe they have a problem with their courses or something. Very nice pie chart of the, this course is not being attended where there's no lecturer for. And a very nice pictorial result view, and you put it there. It's very, very good for. I got this thing from I sit on a foreign audit committee, and they have that kind of, very nice, it's about 1 page, setting graphs here, pie chart here, table here, and it speaks a lot of, volume. Then you come to the detailed findings. Then the detailed findings are there. What you observed that was anomaly, or what you observed that was good. These days, they say we should report some of the good things. So please, nobody will grade you on the good things, but just to have some soft skills that you don't feel. But someone that's worked from January to December, then you can't fail to do this, fail to update, fail to do this, fail to do this, absence of this. Why you must at least see, you didn't see. But at least let's give some credit where it's there. And let's not delve into that. I said these days, people give a report, the whole report is good things. No one is not too, but it's good, it's good. If it is good, it's good. They were within budget. They spent or they spent, at least let us know all these things nicely. Then conclusion. There must be a conclusion of the whole report. We'll go to the details of how to develop it. But the conclusion shows that are the controls working? Is the government conclude on that? The objective that you set, sometimes you forget to conclude. There must be a conclusion. Whether really the value for money audit was achieved. But sometimes we forget, after findings, no, you need to conclude and let them know that the internal controls put in place by management is satisfactory, is fairly satisfactory. That one, your opinion. It's your opinion. But based on what you saw, you think that they need some strengthening here and there. Governance is not well situated. The structure is not working. Very nice. Risk management is not really. Enterprise risk management is not working. And all those things. So we need to really conclude nicely. The acknowledgement. Let's acknowledge the people who work with you. Work with individuals. Let's thank them. Because it's not easy for somebody to open his doors or be questions. Maybe or 3 years ago that he come and or to 2 person who don't come. But let's say thank you to management, the staff, the unit that you or the section or the individual, if it's individual, let's acknowledge them nicely, and then that's why the head or the one who is taking ownership of the report will not sign. That's the ownership place that will sign that this report and that the person. There are appendices. I didn't like appendices because I always want to put my pictorial evidence, everything in the finding. So when I have the finding, the condition, then I put the table there. But sometimes they don't like appendices. So let's try and get appendices. Some appendices, list of stuff. Based on your findings, get some appendix A, B, C, D, and then put in the reports. I want to put everything. So when you read findings, there are some two other people too, some try to get appendices from the work that where there's no appendices. However, there's no appendix, there's no appendix. There are some findings, PVs, we put all the PVs. But if you do some Excel, analysis, pivot tables, then you have to put it in the appendix there. Then references. Sometimes these days we have to reference our report. You can reference some of the documents you use, even though you have stated it in the criteria. You can still bring it as references that you optional. And it is there, but sometimes I can give it. But like the way we do our thesis, the thesis, when you finish, even though you have stated it there, you still have to bring some references that that will help. There are some of them you didn't use it stating the condition in the criteria, but then you read through it, like public service commission employee handout something, because they allow ask you, oh, why did you this thing? Did you look at the handout? If you say, oh, I read it, and it's in the report, they're bullshit too. Your Honor, so some of the things that you really look through, just add it. The same can be just I refer to this, and then you just add it. Because the lawyers are looking at this and just to discredit what you've done. So you must always be on top. Then I agree actions with management. That's really a finding. I agree with management because I'm going to see somebody request something. No, I agree with them. I want you to update the nominal role with the deceased and on those who have separated staff and this. So, okay, HR, maybe the vice chancellor will write to the HR head, HR will trickle down to the department, HR person. So they give you a very nice plan. That shows that they have accepted your finding. You don't have a plan, and then you come and sit and give them deadline. It's caused a lot of confusion these days. So please, when you finish at the exit, have a plan with them. They don't like writing. Sometimes management don't like writing. Sometimes you have to get it oral. What do you think you do? And then your one who's doing the minuting is putting it on record. Or you go back to office. Sometimes my chief director have to go back to office, write a unit. Chief, based on our discussion, you said you do that. Can you please? I said, go ahead. Who you say go ahead? So sometimes they are very difficult getting, but you have to find ways and means of getting their response from them. I have a response that I've taken a year, and I don't want to go with their response. That is a big issue. Sometimes it delays. Sometimes you have to see why things too delaying to them. You have to issue it, after 10 days. That's the normal rule. After 10 days, after 30 days, external about these things. External people are able to be afraid of them to buy internal details. Look at our institutions are not really afraid. They no money did. We ask them for money to go for conferences and things, they know where to knock on our head. So sometimes it becomes a challenge, it becomes a challenge. This year I'm really fighting, so you can go. So the status of previous audit report. As I said, when you are doing your work, can you look at the previous reports, look at the status? Are they implementing those recommendations? So you have to give them the status that they have been doing. And sometimes those findings can come back to your finding. You can repeat it. If they didn't do it, you can repeat it again. And but some of them can just report on the status without reinstating, the report. So basically, that's a very nice outline of a complete report. Some can be optional, but some of the key things, don't leave them out. So we take them one by one. Cover page, as I said, a very, very nice cover full page, the institution, whatever. If you're in the hospital, get a very nice, you went into stores, procurement, try and get a very nice, cover page. That speaks to them. So they know that at least, if I don't agree, even though okay bad things, at least. If the department, they have a very nice building, all the department picture, you ask for good. Don't go and put someone's picture. You have no access approval or anybody at the fight. So let's see the kind of pictures that we also put there before you go and cause commotion somewhere. A table of contents should be very there. The things nice speak there. The abbreviations are left out. Sometimes you need to bring in the list of acronyms. So in our report, a lot of acronyms and their abbreviations. So you need to really have a table of those things. Don't forget those things. So at least when somebody is reading and there's abbreviation, he knows that when I go to this bill, I'll get what it means. Then it follows out. So after a report, see all the abbreviation, come back. Some people today don't want to put, they'll write the full things over and over. So I make the report to something. So try and, PV, use PV, then you just say payment voucher, then you have it somewhere there nicely done. Executive summary. Most important findings are summarized and the IA should write down in a way that makes management aware of them. So some can bullet it, some can make it paragraphs, or some can go by the legal way, they number it. So the legal people, they like numbering. So when they go to court, they call it paragraph 2. So you can either bullet or make it paragraphs, number it. A very nice way that they can really get it. Basically, recommendations. The finding and the recommendations can be, if there is a dissenting view from management, please add that one. And don't leave theirs out. So they don't agree with your finding. So you need to add that one. That, management, I said it is black, but management says that it is blue black. At least add that one to it. Then introduction, as I said, introduction must come. You have to introduce properly, a paragraph on how you came about doing the audit, who sanctioned it, when to do it, the approach, all those things. You need to bring in 1 or 2 things. It helps. As I said, this day we don't just get up because you ask for releases and they didn't give it to you. Then you're going to do a spot audit. You're going to do HR audit. Then you go to the accounts office. When you see the organogram of the accounts office, what are the job descriptions of the various? Let's take our time and let's, if you want to do it, just make sure you can go back to your audit committee chair. If really it's something, at least somebody sanction. Always get the covering. If it's the board, some people report directly to the board. So you can get the board approval, for those in the private sector, the board approval, or sometimes it can be the principal officer. Not go and which hands. Sometimes they don't like somebody. So they tell you to go and do something. So be careful of what you are also asked to do. Because of person want to do something, so you have to look at really what they were asking you to do before you go and be the enemy. That person. So you can tell them, oh, okay, sir. Once you've said it, I'll add it to my quarterly. Sometimes you have a nice, don't say no. If you say no to your superior, that one is another issue. You have to have the soft skills to go about that. Some of these, they don't. If you say no, they have to create enmity. Chief, can I add it? Looking at the way it is, or can we go to the committee? You also have to the other how they do to us. When we want money, they don't give up, but they don't say no. They do it this way. So you also have to learn how to do it, this way. You can't hold your hands to go and do the audit by force. They can't do that. They know they can't, hold your hands to do it. But they also look at the ways, the means. Well, let's add it to next year's plan nicely, and then when you know that what you're going to do. But if it's in a plan, you can add it somewhere, or something that you see that you also have seen a weakness there, or it's in the risks. But, oh, Chief, is it now a risk register? Chief, you have to have a risk register, so you can put that risk there. So when I'm auditing it, then you force them to also have that in place. The I said, the background, you have to really have a very good background about the audit. The brief history of the organization, the department, the key mandates, the goals, the objectives that they seek to achieve, auditees and all those things. If the ministry, what they are mandated, some of the ministry have been doing policy, but they have been doing some implementation job they're not supposed to do. So you have to look at all those things, what they are supposed to do. And the scope. The boundaries of the audit include the department, the processes, the system you reviewed. You can go to IT. Maybe you didn't review all the systems, so please try and come back and make sure you put in there what you did. Because when you leave it vague and there's an issue with it, our report these days, they can have issues. It depends on where you are. Some places there, the report they will not be doing it, but some places where you are, that definitely, there'll be, and that's the first place the internal audit reports or audit reports are where the current Chief Justice, most of the issues are coming from audit reports. So it's a very key issue that you need to really go make sure that the boundaries are kept. Because they have a lot of systems in the internal audit, the IT people. So make sure if you don't, I was not able to go through this, that. These are the things, or step what you went through. Or you can have a limitation. Some people may have limitation. Have the scope there. Then when they went there, there are issues. They come to write limitations. Have that heading limitations. What they were limited to do. That one is there. So don't update the scope, but then you bring in limitation. and you are good to go. It's very key because these days you never know where your report will land. Audit methodology, risk-based. You are always telling us to do risk-based. If you do some data analytics, if you are able to do some pivot tables, because as I said, the lawyers go and make sure that what you did, how did you come about that thing? Let them know what really you do. I took it to Excel, I extracted it, and these are the formulas. Very nice. Not list everything, but at least let them know what you did additional to get it. The interviews, the observations, the sampling and testing. When we do sampling, let's really talk. Sometimes they give you PVs from, in my work, what I've developed myself, the file that I pick, that's why I'll get the issues. But sometimes I have to take time to develop that kind of, other eye. Some people have to go through the whole thing. But when I ask you 2 questions, I ask the counter 2 questions, look at the areas they did, when did my money was released. You have to look at when the money was released, the spending when they did, and look at the bank statement. I know which PVs, which period I'll not go through. Then you sample it nicely. You can't go and do some mathematical sampling there. So you have to state how you went about. I was given the January to December, maybe 12 act files, and then based on the act files, I picked March. It's also something that you've told them after you picked this. So at least let them know. Because these lawyers, they are really very, very cantankerous. They go and get some accountant to, give them all the clues, and they come and hit you, and auditors, they come and hit you and let's discredit what you do. Then document reviews, when you do document reviews, if in a finding, you've stated it there. But sometimes you can also say, I did document reviews over there. But sometimes your finding or your condition, I did a document review, it is there. So you can refer to that. Oh, in the report, I didn't state it there. In my report, in the finding, I said I did a document review of this contract between A and B. But it's always good to bring it there because sometimes they don't go through the whole thing. Align the objective, scope, methodology. Make sure they are all aligning. The objective you want to get, is it aligning with the scope? And the scope is aligning with the method that you use to get to that scope. Sometimes we started a particular approach that really doesn't align. Maybe let's take it out. But we did some cut and paste. We have been doing cut and paste. And I said, this days, the cut and paste, be careful. Be careful with the cut and paste. Sometimes they ask me something, I say, yeah, but when I copy somewhere, it means that, so let's be careful. Let's be careful, what we put there. Whatever you put as you. You can't go and say different things. Then the objectives, this define what the audit aims to achieve, such as evaluating internal controls, assessing compliance with policies, identifying the processes, inefficiencies or fraud risks, providing assurances on risk management and all those. Let them know what really, we seek to achieve. The key management personnel, don't forget to list them. When they say key is key, let the key people, when it's key, the key. So when you go ask the management or ask their minutes, when they have meetings, management meetings, so you know who are the key people before you go. Audit team, the members must be there. Who did the audit? Because they did the audit. You, the head, may not have done it. So let's list. It doesn't take any shine from the head. So let's have them there. Because you don't have to, when they ask you, oh, I didn't do the audit. It was done by, I just discredit you. Your Honor, this report, the person standing there is not the one who did the report. So let the team be there. If you're part of the team too, you can still add your name and still sign, at the end. As I said, the result, validation result, as I said, the graphs and those things, sometimes very nice bar chart or something showing some additional guide or something, you can add all those things. Then we come to the finding itself, the detailed findings. There are two types of them. We have the 5 C's and the 7 C's. So now you are developing the actual finding itself. The first 5 C's, you have the condition. What is the issue? So what you went there, what did you see? That is the condition. What you saw, that was abnormal. That was not according to the regulation. Put in a story for very nice. Anybody who is reading it should understand what you put there. Don't be too much jargon. In our review of the HR policies and manual of the university, we came across, this, that they must do monthly validation of staff or monthly headcounts. And we verified the reports of the monthly report. There was no report on file. We didn't cite any reports. A discussion with the head of, proved that they have not been doing it. This list is very nicely. Some people like one line finding. Please, let's stop this one line finding. Finding cannot be one line, just one sentence. Fine, it can be a sentence which is big, a whole paragraph, but not just a line. Who finding? No, let's beef it up. Because, let's beef it up. I'm trying to get an example. The condition, what you met. Well, I don't think you just saw that one line. A lot of things you met. The observation can be just one phrase, one line, but the finding should be a paragraph, which is a picture somewhere or a table somewhere to support it, and all this. Let's really come out with a very nice, let's not be afraid of their English. You can always have somebody to proofread for you, a colleague auditor or somebody to, proofread, one of the audit committee, is it? But be careful, sometimes they can change, they throw off some, by finding, they will change it, so you have to be very careful when you're using the AI tools. And we don't have a law on the AI tools in Ghana, so be careful of the information you also put there. Whatever you put there is gone. Sometimes people will take the whole report to the AI, ask them to rewrite, proofread and all those. Be careful. And somebody can see you somewhere. So let's be careful what you put there. Maybe one paragraph, a copy, then you paste it there, then they shake it for you. Or the Grammarly too, if you have the paid one, or the free one too, is good. But please check and see whether what they are changing still has what you intend to. But sometimes they throw it off. Let somebody read through the report for you. When I started auditing, my father-in-law read through my report because sometimes I give it to him. I was coming from French. I have a lot of French thinking. Sometimes I read the thing, then you tell me how he understood. I said, no, it's not that. And I'll tell you that this is what. I said, no. Then this sentence is too long. Let it shorten it, put a full stop here, restart another sentence. So it's very good to always have somebody read through, the sentence just to, help you. Always take the short sentence. I like long things. Sometimes it really, you lose it. What you are going to convey is not there. And then when you get spend officer or a principal person who is grammarly oriented or somebody who is that kind of, academician or better acronym. I remember when I was in health, Honorable Kwashigan, he would take a red pen. He would take his time. For him, he would read the report. He would read the report, take his time. As a minister that I knew, really, I would read the report, like I said, grammar and all those things, and come and ask if he doesn't understand, you mean to the person. Can you explain, what action do you want me to take in this report coming to me? So we had now to develop actionable areas for the minister. So the report is there, but we had actionable areas for the minister. So you not read the whole report, but what action you should take. Then that one becomes easy, for him to do those. So let's look at the condition very well. Then the criteria. What law was breached? What regulation was breached? What policy? What SOP was breached? What contract? What item of the contract was breached? Then we state it. Nicely done. In our part of in Ghana, you are very, how do you put it? You are litigants. In the Sweden border I am on, you hardly see criteria. When there's a finding on you, don't joke. But in Ghana, criteria, what have I breached? So therefore here it's like, you need to state what really they have breached. But please, a small project, you didn't do something small. How dare you to go and explain that, there's no criteria. You can't even say that in front of the audit committee or the management. They will deal with you to even get that small finding on you. But here it looks like, it's like it must be there. Because as auditor, we need to get what criteria has been breached, the law, the procedure, the SOP, the contract. So you have to read them. Auditors don't like reading, but you have to read this time and make sure you get it. Why you don't get anything? Then you have to rely on industry practices. But that one you have to have backing. So the lawyers who that alone, they will ask you questions here, left, right, center. So you must make sure where are you getting that industry practice from? Where are you getting that best practice from? If it's an HR manual, your references that I said, you put those things. So that best practice, wherever you got those things from, it must be there. You can't just sit there and just conjure and say, oh, best administrative practice suggests that. See, this you have to make sure that you have a backing. It can be an expert. Don't forget, it can be an expert too. Or sometimes something that's expert, sometimes I used to quote Oxingame. You can, so it must be a source. As is the, experts in the HR or, arbitration, this, suggest that, or sometimes when you go online, you can always get it. You can send you to, how do you call those things? An article or a source document that you can refer to it. So let's really not, I don't they used to quote administrative best practice, best practice suggests, but please go back, you can put it in the system, AI can go and fish out and get something for you nicely. But you can also fish out to get the regulation that is breaking. Or if it's not breaking, you have to have it some other general findings that you put it there, not a main finding. Is it okay? Then the cause. Very key. Let's get the cause so that our recommendation can address what caused that. Ask the 5 why to get to the bottom of the issue. Items not routed through stores. You can't say it is deliberate negligence on the part of the store manager to sometimes maybe it's not from, sometimes from management overruns. The items crowd doesn't care. He doesn't even see the items. When they bought it, they bought maybe examination scripts. So when they bought it straight to the department and something, so they didn't even. So when you say that he too is reluctant to pass it through the booth, that way many of you they also don't want to do it. You need to get the actual cause why they're not routing the items through stores. So if it's management overruns, then you cannot give recommendations to deal with it. Unless always you be blaming a store manager for free. No. They hasn't got any clue. And some today will not go. If you tell the store manager to go and check, they don't want to go. They are sitting in their chair, they want you to bring the item to store. Meanwhile, the thing is food. How can we bring food to the stores first to put it on the shelf and requesting it out? It's not done there. So you need to come and call him. Go there, go and see the conference room. Oh, these are the food that was procured. How many packs? He checks the packs. Because things happen through the 100 packs, not 50 they buy. A lot of things happen there. So they have to check the packs, the number, the quantity that comes, and all those things. That's why sometimes they are reluctant to just sign the SRA or just, put it on record when they have not, seen it. So you need to look at what really is causing the issue and then have a very good. So the issue, the 5 causes, why are you not doing this? You ask the person why. So, but more ask why. We would not tell you the actual cause. Let's not come to our office and then copy and paste somebody's cause, then we can't put it there. Sometimes the cause is not really, or ask the auditee. Because he's the one who refused or failed to do something. Why did you fail to update the honor row or the nominal row? Then he tells you, oh, no, management, send periodic notice to the various departments that when people are retiring or leaving and all those things, they should inform us. And do follow up. Do you send reminders? Because a letter alone doesn't work. You need to ask more questions. So you get to the root cause. Then I say, oh, okay, that means you have to automate the system. So that when somebody is leaving, quickly there is, especially there was an issue where people don't change their password. Sometimes you go to the ministry, somebody will give his password to another person, the person is using it. And anyway, this person, no, then anybody, we need to do training. I said, no, this is not training. Let the system ask everybody, after 1 month, ask them to change their password. Because if you don't put a system that will ask them to change their password, there's no way this thing will be solved. We'll still be writing the same. But when you have a system, when it goes, it is blocked. to ask the person, change your password, then it means that we're training, people will be chopping training, the food, they'll be chopping out of the training free. They will not do, just make sure the system is automated such a way that every month it blocks you, then asks you to change. If you use the same password, you tell no, this password has been used before. So the person is forced to do it. That will solve it. That's the that we need to get the actual. When you ask the 5 whys, why this, why that, why that, then you get it. But sometimes we just go and say, oh, let's train them. You have created a job for somebody. Then the consequences. Whatever finding we found and the cause, what is the impact that to have on the organization? Or what's the risks involved? What are the consequences? You need to tell them. Because sometimes, this finding, but when the person sees what is going to happen, that's where you are adding value. Or if you don't do that, the organization will lose funds. If we don't really review contracts, we don't do review of contract, we don't do validation and all those things, it means we lose funds through contracts that are only, or the institutions may not collect revenue. And then they are only hear that revenue, then they are alert. Miss leakage somewhere, then one day they are alert. So we need to tell them what we found. What is the impact on organizations? Or this will give the reputational damage to the organization. With time, we'll not have students coming in organization. People not, they know that, hey, there's trouble. Let's really find, the impact. And these days, even Meta AI on your WhatsApp, Meta AI can even tell you the risks of a particular finding. So there's no way, but you have to also trick it down to the organization, whether he's giving you a general something. So you can always get the impact if you're having difficulty, but you have to do some more work. We should stop the cut and paste. I mean, I've done cut and paste before. Be careful what you feed to the system. You don't have laws on it. I'm not an expert on this one. Sure. When you somebody can do an organization, they are top of the final meeting. They don't call them. Some project have been done, they know there's a project being done. So I forget where you're coming, but sometimes the auditor is blue. It's blue. Unless it's the auditor that is, then he's able to get close to people. But some auditors are, some they don't know where they put them. They're urinary somewhere very far from administration block. Far cut from the system. So it's not even see, you're seeing top. It's deliberate. It's a deliberate, but that is what the people have come to understand. You put money system. But we're hoping that with time, and that is our own police who tell them that they should do that. Yes. No, at all. What of? Sure. But for the soft skill, it's very key because some of your findings you get from the people. I went to one school in the Western region, Central region, and then I spoke to the watchman and then the kitchen staff. When I want to go to the institutions, that's where I start from security, kitchen staff, then SRC, before I go to management. Because when you go to management, they'll lose. I start from there. Then they'll tell you those who have been throwing food there and jumping, and then they don't give them some. So they are peeved. So at security, you have for the security, they'll give you a whole rundown. Hospital security, school security, because they are peeved. Say. They come to the cooks too. They'll tell you, the food that comes, how they don't bring all the bags and all those things. So by the time you get to the metro, I want to see how the food gets to the rest. I've talked to the rest house to, how did you get this thing? I said, how did you? No. So if you have to do 3 days, no, you can't go. No, you can't go today. Please wait. If you wait, you are in trouble, because if they wait, what they'll do to you, I said, report, you can't write the day again. So you have to find ways of getting your information. Because sometimes when you go, the books will you show me the account will buy they'll be laughing. But what is environmental scanning? There was a PIF person in the institution or in the sector. There was a PIF, and those are the people who can give you a very good, but you have to be able to protect them too. But please verify what they tell you. Some too, they can lie. And then on purpose, they can lie. But whatever they say, go and verify it. I went to the store kitchen. Please, where is every cook must have a ledger. I got 10 cups of rice. I got this from this. All those. So you check it. Even when they've told you that these bags didn't come, you go ask them. I want to know cooking utensils, but how much tins of rice does it cook? Then they'll tell you. Then you ask, okay, so how much did they give you? They realize that somebody read 18. But he told me only 9. But how did you get 18 here? Because they've come overnight. Auditors are come. They've come to change things, but they don't change it well. You see right over here and there and all those things. So we need to really get those things. Then corrective action. Once you've known the cause, then the impact or the consequences, the risks, then you can give a corrective action, on what they need to do to stop this finding from. Our job is make sure that this finding doesn't appear again. That is our job as auditors, that this finding doesn't come again. There are some ways there. They've said that this one we'll do it. Single sourcing, they are still doing it. But some of the things you need to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself again. So you need to make sure that the corrective action or the recommendation you are giving is going to help management to stop some of the things, some of the administrative things that happen, some of they don't do reconciliation. There should be a real, punitive actions there. Allowances that must not. Some people, if don't give allowance, they'll do. So you stop certain allowances given to some people. If you don't have your allowance, reconciliation is not done for a month and all those things. You don't take this, you don't take that. Management is not going to pay. Sometimes I have to tell the boss, please, all the management allowances that are given, if recommendation, FC has not signed, or the chief financial person have not signed recommendations or reconciliations, allowances will not be paid. Once you say that they want to do equal allowances, they don't joke with it. Everybody wants so allowances. So we should link that one too. Then we have also the services. The same thing, criteria, condition, cause, consequence, corrective action. Then we add only client's response and conclusion. Sometimes you need a client's response to help that finding. And you need the client's response to, to mature your finding. Put it that way. It doesn't mean there's no client response. The finding is not good. It's good, but sometimes you need the client's response because you've gone to see something. You've said that this and this are the client. What is the client saying about? What is? Do they agree with you? Have they also observed that, or is it a revelation to them? If it's a revelation to them, they've added value. So it means that they have to, put some check and balances. So when you ask for conference, they're ready to pay you because, hey, I'll just tell you, the leakages and the loopholes are coming. And so advising them, and then some will also be litigants. They would like to. Please don't stop them. Or if your evidence is there, just show it to them that what I'm saying, this is my evidence, this is this. Do it. Or they say, oh no, what you are seeing is not like that. They say, oh, how is it like? Give them the opportunity to, and then verify whatever they bring. Sometimes, they're supposed to use controller, cash book. But the system, they're using Excel. Excel, what are the safeguards on this Excel? But this Excel, you can come and modify it. So you have to also see to it what they are doing and make sure that at least what they are doing, even though it's not right, is it really appropriate? Is it good for the system? Are there controls in place to stop certain things? If there are no controls, then is it okay? Let them have, and then come with a conclusion where they still differ with you, that you can conclude. that I still say it is black, even though they are saying it is blue black. I still based on this, and the audit committee or the management will take it over. I did a finding that in our place, they buy tractors. They use bankers draft. But I saw one bankers draft that's bought 2 tractors. The same number, same things. But they also say no. This is 2 different tractors, but the same bank. So what you do is that make sure you put what they are saying, and then you conclude that I still insist that the same bank number. You see, you ask the audit committee, that investigation they have to do, and then I leave it where it's there. So at least as auditor, make sure you report on it, but don't go and fifi. You can do follow-up. Don't go and fifi to make sure that your recommendation by force. No, don't force it. The next body to make sure the committee should enforce recommendation being compliant. So make sure the committee is enforcing it. The management is, they leave us, and then you can tell. If you report to a regulator that this finding is still not being done, and then leave it there. Don't engage in the fighting. Findings shall be based on the following attributes. I've explained all the criteria, condition, and all those things. So I'm going to have an example of the findings where you don't want to have an issue with the institution, that you do observation like this: weak procurement controls. This is a very soft finding. Then he said the finding is basically non-compliance with procurement procedures. And the condition is 3 procurement transactions valued at 250,000 were executed without obtaining the required 3 competitive quotations. This is not enough. You need to really add more, beef it up. It's very nice, but you need to beef it up, add some, further particulars to it. During our review of the procurement file, we encountered that procurement to go and buy this particular goods and services, or to do this particular warehouse, and then 3 or 2, only 1 document was sold, only 2 documents were sold, which fall short of the normal procedure of 3 or more. Very nice one. Then the criteria, still the criteria. Section 20 of the PPA Act amended requires that entities obtain at least 3 quotations for goods and services above the threshold. Very nice. You can paragraph it, you can do cut and paste. But make sure that if you are paragraphing it or paraphrasing it, you don't change the legal, no legal, so be careful. Sometimes there are some things that sometimes doesn't help you, so you want to, you have to know dressing for first, but make sure you don't change the legal aspect. Or you can just put it there, or you can just take it verbatim, cut and paste, and put it there. Then, of course, lack of oversight by the procurement officer and poor adherence to laid down procedures. A very nice cause. But is it really actual cause? Sometimes you have to go deep down. Because sometimes the minister has brought the people he wants you to order, like chief executive have brought you where you should procure from this person, party person. So there's really an issue that is coming. And they ask you, go and look for it, add it. Father, they tell them that, go and look for it to never account. Now, how are you going to get it? So you need to know where really the issue is coming, and then give the actual advice, And most of the time when it is not published, most of these things is not published, that's where the issue comes from. The unpublished ones must be on the PPA website. They must use the GANEP system. So that one, you cannot do anything. If there's no tray, it doesn't move to the next place. But with this lack of oversight, we'll go come again to still be there. But when you ask them to go to the system and make sure that they publish all the, whatever they will do on the system, people see it, then they see, they will apply. So if I see it, I'll apply. Nobody will stop me from applying. So we need to start giving the appropriate, getting the costs and then giving the appropriate recommendation. Consequently, increase the risk of inflated prices, favoritism, loss of value for money. If I put down the consequences there, then they know that this thing you are doing, if you do that, they are favoring people. But when you bring only one, two people, by means, we call A and B, but let's open it up and get value for money. Something that can get it 2 CDs, somebody will bring 10. Because you have to pay one procurement officer, so the price will have to go to be inflated because you have to, but once you open it up and people are then bidding it, it's, but our procurement law is really an issue. But I hope with time, the system will all operate on the system and then, everything is on the system. So you don't have to call a supplier. He goes to see there and then apply. And to Anna applies now, but deadline, it just come and then, but even give me scratch, still people have ways. So auditor must go to the system and always recommend for system they can always, but they will need to go and review it and then ask for more controls to be put in place. Management should ensure all procurement strictly adhere to the Act. The government, the procurement unit should be trained and monitor to enforce compliance, training, ENFA, because where the cost is coming, it's higher. So we need to really get it done. The another one too, delay bank reconciliations. So untimely bank reconciliations. Sometimes you want to be nice to them and say delayed. But if they don't do the whole 6 months, sometimes the check has gone stale because they didn't see. It's a very big issue. So bank reconciliation statements for January to March 2025 have not been prepared as of May 2025. It's just too small. Let's give this condition up. So which bank statement, cash book, sometimes a particular department or a particular, unit, not the whole institutions, how it came about it and all those things. A very nice, good paragraph. The criteria is there. The financial regulations no more. This is just an example I'm using, so don't go and quote. The FAR is no more. A regulation 160 requires monthly reconciliation to be done within 30 days. But this there's no more. So you have to code the PFM Act what is there. Causes staff shortage and lack of effective supervision in the accounts unit. Sometimes you go to accounts unit, there's only one person. He's the cashier. He's the one writing the books. He's the head of himself. He's the head of the unit and do everything. That one, the reconciliation will suffer. That's the first thing that will suffer. So we need to look. Staffing, if there's a shortage, I think there's a shortage or there's some people, they even use national service. When the national service people come, they are the people that, but they have to supervise very well. So if there's no national service, that means there's no, reconciliations being done. So we should look at that one. And then the lack of effective supervision in the accounts unit. In case they have, otherwise it's alone, which is supervising. But if there are 2 or 3, and then they have to have their jobs scheduled. So we know that there's one particular person who is doing the reconciliation, doesn't go to bank. But the one who's doing the reconciliation should not be the one who's going to the bank. And then all those things are, and the one who's keeping the book is not the one who's doing the reconciliation. So we need to get a different person who is doing all those things. And they're supervised by, where you see, where they are staff. And then the head must supervise, make sure he signs the reconciliation. He's not doing it. But you need to, every month after a week, you need to ask where are the reconciliations to, to sign it. And this, they were trying to make sure that the HR, the appraiser system is done online, what do you call it? E-appraiser, so that at least if that's the job of the person to size, put in the system. So if he doesn't do it, there's no way he'll come back after 3 months to come and do it. It shows that 0. They'll score him 0 for not doing that particular. We're hoping that integration, digitalization, to catch up with the HIMIS systems of appraisal, so that if that is your role, every month you're supposed to appraise. 1 month you didn't do it, you can't come back 2 months to come and do it again. There's no more. You've lost the marks there, so you'll be appraising 0, 0, 0 there, so that people will now be put, to check. Consequences: many delay detection of errors and fraudulent transactions may impair cash flow and management. So at least once you don't do it, it will impair cash flow. Check that must come in. We are still chasing some checks that are, 7, 8 years. That's some timber operators have to, pay to, but it didn't come, and you are still chasing it. Then recommendation: the finance director should assign a dedicated officer to perform the timely reconciliation and institute review controls to ensure the compliance of that particular thing. And the last one, IT access control weaknesses. Sometimes you don't want to say failure. So some people don't like the word failure. So instead of removing the failure, then you can put weaknesses there. Failure to do this or the system, and I be a fail. So sometimes, so we're not moving away from the word fail. So you just put, it's the same thing that you will convey, but just the soft skills. So let's put weaknesses over there for them. Inadequate user access control and financial systems. So 3 former employees still has active login credentials to the financial accounting system. So you need to give a very nice background. It's too short. That is the finding, but say something small for it to give a very nice condition. Criteria, ISO IEC 2700 standard recommends prompt revocation of system access upon employee or separation. Look at where they've got to get the criteria. So it's not really any law or something, but at least they've gotten it from the standards, from the ISO standards, and they've got it. So once you put it online, you can get some criteria instead of going to use the best industry best practice. You don't have any justification. If you have justification, then you can use it. But please, let's start stopping those things. Any law, then you just go and look, best administrative practice suggests that, it doesn't hold water, it doesn't hold water. So let's look at that. Lack of coordination between HR and IT department. So there's no coordination between the IT and then, IT may not know that the person has left. So the credential, because you cannot stop it. So sometimes now the head of finance will be given the authority to now, so you need to recommend that, okay, the head should be given that to manage his people, not everybody, but the accountants or the finance people there, he should be given. So when they go, he knows that they've gone. Then he can't blame IT for not, it's not that, IT for not, you didn't go and inform the IT that 3 staff have left. They are still using the credentials. Now that they use, so this finding should not end there. You must go further to see whether they have used this credential to do something bad. You didn't end it here. There should be another finding saying that, okay, you have checked, but then they didn't use it. But sometimes they intentionally leave it, but they are using it to commit other things. So you need to check that one too. Recommendations: develop and enforce access termination protocol aligned with the user exit procedure. Conduct quarterly access review. So there must be exit procedure. These days, when people are leaving organization, there must be an exit procedure. IT must come and ask some questions before they go, and then or if they're going to be released, there must be some, exit procedure. But this day we don't do it. The public service sometimes the way they transfer people, so it's very difficult to stand there. You're going to do exit. Everybody both know, or is angry, and then But we need to start doing it. They have to link it to your pensions. Once you don't have exit, pensions not paid, then they'll do it because the white man they have linked it with systems. That's how they're able to go. They're not better than us. They're also fallible, but they've linked it with things that will force you to do the exit. If you have some benefit, you don't get it till you have finished your exit procedures, and then they've cleared you. And then just like the institutions, when you come for your certificate, you have to go to library, go and clear. You have to go here. You have to go here before. So you have to link it to some of these things, and then things will be done. Writing clear, concise, audit, and actionable report. I think I've explained all those. This effective communication, actionable, specific. Let's our recommendation be specific. Let's know whether it's medium or high or low. Prioritize the risks by risk level. If you forget anything, at least smart. Have a smart. Let your recommendation should be smart, specific, measurable. Recommendation that can be measured. Can be action oriented. Can take action. That's why I have to agree with them with the action plan. How they should be realistic. Sometimes some of the recommendations. You ask, but you can ask the team, what do you think can solve this issue? You can also take them, but don't take who clients single whatever they say. At least listen to them. So that they also have solutions, or they can tell you something that you can also add something to it, and then it will be time bound. Let your recommendation have time bound. Let's add time bound to our recommendation now. These days, this recommendation, at least by 3 months you should do it. By 1 week it should be done. Let's really start adding those things to our recommendations. Communication of best practices, use visuals to support clarity. I've said all those things. Be concise, professional, structure content logically. If it's an investigative report, please don't start from Z, then B. No. Let's follow it. Or how you interview the people. Go by that A, then you went to B. Because when you interview A, you mention B, then you go to B, then you mention C. So just put it that way. So you come to your conclusion. Use plain language, no technical languages. Sometimes let's go plain, short sentences, plain languages. Why you need to use some technical language, then put it there. But make sure you understand it, and those who are reading it can also understand it. Because the report is not for you, the auditor or the accountant. It has other stakeholders that will go through it. Common reporting pitfalls. Overuse of jargon or technical jargon. Don't really overuse it. Let's really get other ways. This day, AI can give you another way. So if you can't get it, please rely on AI. You see how the AI they use. Want to cry at least Meta AI or phones, WhatsApp. But a lot of tools, a lot of them. A lot of tools. You can even ask Google, what tool can I use? What AI tool can I use to get it to tell you? So you don't have any. You go to YouTube, so you can have some trainings there that they can tell you how to use a particular. So there's no excuse, on that. Finding lacking supporting evidence. Findings lacking. Let's stop those findings that lack evidence. Only evidence are if you go back another time. The fact was the next time you go again, but don't put it there and then you don't have finding there. It becomes confusion all over. So we are supposed to add value to organizations, but when you are creating those things, it takes your value away, and they are not happy with the internal audit report or audit units. Generic or impartial recommendation. Don't give generic, specifically linked to that. Be specific. No generic or impractical. Sometimes the recommendation is given. Hey, can we even do this? It's not really practicable, because to even change an act. A whole process. So the institution went to see a hospital down there. You want them to change that. There's no way they can change the act. But they can write to their region to inform the ministry that this thing needs to be reviewed. If you're asking them to go and change that act, that place, what can they do? No way. So let's be, sometimes, a little bit, no link between the cause and recommendation. Please, let's look at the recommendation to address the cause. When you address the cause, you come back again. For them, you see the same finding. But once that cause is addressed, the finding, let's really address that thing. And ignoring stakeholder feedback. Please, let's not ignore the stakeholder feedback as necessary. Sometimes what you are doing, the person has even seen it, but he hasn't got to it. Oh, yes, last month I did this. To realize that he also give you more information on the issue. So let's get the feedback from our auditees. Let them know what we are taking or what you've seen. This is what we've seen. Some of the things are harsh. Don't go and tell, accountant, no, not that. That's not what you've seen. But you've seen that there's this amount that was withdrawn. Just giving the fact withdrawn these days, but you couldn't account for it nicely. But when you go that way, then you can also tell you how this one, some visitors came. They came from the region, and the director said I should look for some money to pay them. You get it? So then you find a way of the people come in. What is the visitors book? Go and check. What did they come to do? Is there, because when there's a visitor, there must be HR or secretary. I don't know how, which is doing. Sometimes a secretary will come and take some, notes or something. So all this thing you ask, if it's not there, then look, it's not true. Please account for the money. But it is true, yes. Sometimes they get people, people come in and visit and all those things, and you have to find some TNT. But after that, sometimes they forget to come and do the right thing to close it, and then they'll leave it to auditors come and you see it. So that's when you need to, also use the soft skills, not, point the finger like that until you've gone through and also you didn't account for it. All that you said, that it didn't pass. Because sometimes there are genuine ways why the things are not there. Manual responses, let's really get the manual responses from them. It's very good. Written responses must come from management, that they agree with the finding or they are going to take steps to do it. And this is what, at least sometimes they even tell you the cost. Sometimes when they write to you, they even tell you the cost. As an auditor, if you agree with the cost, amend your cost. When you get the response and you think their cost is better. But if you think it's not good, you can still state their cost there. If there's a delay feedback, please send a reminder. Follow up, send a reminder. But you have the number of your charter should be there that day. You have 10 days, and they are aware of the charter. For the service 30 days, they are aware. So, but some findings you need a response. Some findings you really need a response. And intentionally don't respond because sometimes they don't know what to say. So they don't know what to say. So they must. Auditors should not write responses for management. Please, auditors, don't go audit. They're the same person writing response for management. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, that says that. Yeah, if external auditor can, the best person to be a liaison officer is the internal auditor. But in our institutions, public institutions, accountants don't mind inquiring. But the best liaison officer is the internal auditor to be the liaison between. When I was at Kadui in Koforidua, I was there. We had to go to PAC because sometimes what they're looking for is there. The accountant doesn't want to take it. But the thing is there. Instead of going to remove it and give it, so the person will stop writing all those. Because if the auditor writes all those things, to remove it takes things to remove that. So you need to stop him from writing all those. Oh, I'm looking for this document. This report is there. But sometimes the report is kept somewhere, and then they want the findings to come. Then before they want to respond. No. Once he's doing a thing, give him the responses. And the responses to come, engage the auditor, and then that's fine. The auditor may have gone to, auditor is supposed to audit before the external, supposed to have helped to cross the T's and the I's and dot all those things before external come. But still they've come, they'll still get something. That one day, you can't cross all the T's, then you have to involve them. And then together you find answers to the issue. But it is a finding that they saw and they told you and you didn't do, sometimes they'll be dragging their leg to respond. Let me catch you. I told you what to do, no man. So either you go and do what we said, you're going to say, then you respond that yes, this have noted, observed, and management has rectified the situation. Please come and inspect. Then please go and call them because it's good for them to inspect when they are doing the audit. That's the best way to clear audit findings when they are there. But when they go, it means that you have to now go and bring them to clear you. And sometimes we feel reluctant. They should come and clear. They should come. No. What they have 10 days. I want Jamu pay them 10 days. So they have come 10 days. They are there. Let them clear it when they are there. But when you want them to go, it means that you have to now go and bring them. Don't you, okay, next year when they come next year, let's stop that next year when they can do follow-up. No. It's not good to have, it appear in the public accounts, Accountant General's report. Manual letter is good. It must come in the manual letter, but go and bring them and do what they want you to do. Let it be cleared. It doesn't appear in the AG's report. It's not good for an institution to appear there. So let's please work on those things and then get it cleared. And then, why it cannot be clear? Some of the things which you would have can be cleared. That one there, that means it must come. Is it okay? But if it's 30 days, let's make sure within the 30 days, and let's share information. But let's know who you share it to. That was okay. You can't share it. If the head gives to the head is the situation, management looks at it. But sometimes the accountants hold the report, manual letter in their own gym because they don't like the auditors to see. Conclusion. They will need now the final conclusion of the whole report. The governance, the internal controls, the risk management conclude that the controls that are put in place are adequate. So if they are insufficient state, I think the controls insufficient, some are not working. That needs to be what? Redefined, retreat, or reviewed, and all those things. And then you have suggested them in your recommendation. Governance structures are not working, and then we think that management should improve on it so that they don't meet. When you go there, management is there, but somebody meet it is not there. And overall audit in terms of the high risk, low, how do you rate it in your audits? Sometimes they are different. Procurement, so you rate procurement, stores, HR, don't put all of them together and rate it one. So make sure you get that. Then whether you obtain sufficient evidence. It's good if you don't get all the evidence state also. A lawyer taught me that was sometimes you don't get all. They'll be hiding some management to me. Don't give you all. So if you suspect that particular document or particular things were not given, please let it be known. At least let's put in a statement. Don't be orally no. State that okay, you couldn't obtain sufficient. Audit committee will now forced to get it or to ask what were those evidence to make sure that it comes, or if it goes to management, vice chancellor can ask what sufficient evidence you didn't get, because they don't want you to talk like that. So if he has to come in, then he comes in and then you get those documents and it's done. The acknowledgement part, as I said, let's acknowledge people, say thank you for coming there to work with them, the ownership, the final authority signing of the report. Some will sign it before the executive summary. I like to do it after. Sometimes something can get missing, so it's after you put it there. The appendices we talked about, possible appendices that you need to add, certain document you screenshot or you took a camera. A screenshot is also a good evidence. So you need to get a tool, sniper tools to screenshot all these things. Sometimes you have to screenshot. These are all evidence. You cannot say that you don't have evidence. So all this, all these are evidence, but you need to tell them what evidence it is, and if it is good or adequate, that one is the court that will determine whether that evidence is, but that's evidence you relied to do your work. So screenshots can also be used and then add as appendices, photocopies. You take it nicely, make it an image, add it to PDF, add it to it, and all those things. There are, as I said, references. So sometimes you can ask all the references you do. Some of the IT breaches, sometimes you don't get them in the laws and this. So you must always follow those standards, and then those, those that is there, you just state it nicely there. Then agreed action with management. As I said, after agreed action with management, what they have to do, a very nice table, the date, the responsible officer, the timelines, and all those things that you put there. And follow up on the T's. Sometimes you have to follow up. Once you put this, agreed action with management, please follow up. Sometimes you did a report in January, but then you are sending the report to stakeholders in April. Oh, before you go, please do follow up. I'm working. So maybe something has changed. Is it okay? When you do that, you're adding value to organization, because yes, January they didn't do the reconciliation. Don't be afraid that your report will be zero. No. You have given background. You have given results. A lot of things are there. Oh, there were no adverse findings. It's a report. But then you have a whole big report already with introduction, with background, and all this information that you are giving people. But then when it comes to the detailed finding, there was no adverse finding. It's a report. Because as at April, all those that you found, and it's in your file, your working document is there, clean. There's nothing, nobody will kill you for doing that. But sometimes you want to give it to management, Once they solve it, that's our joy for them to add, because these are our results, end results of our work. And they add on it, we are happy. Then you just take it out, But you can't take a blank report. You cannot say, I'm not reporting to. There's no way you can say this year I didn't have a report. No. It's not something. This quarter there was no report. No. But there was no adverse finding. Or you can talk about the good things. I don't like that. Personally, I don't like a whole report. It's only good things. I don't like that. One or two to, that's okay. But there's no adverse finding. So when IAO can look at your working document, they know that, this was it was done. Preparation for audit responses. Let's get the auditing responses on this, previous report. Let's get the status of the previous report, whether they've implemented it, what is. Sometimes the recommendation, they couldn't do it, or they are not getting it. So when you do the follow-up, and then you can tell, oh, do it this way, do it that way, and then that's why we have to consult. We also consultants to the institution, so that you consult us, and then we give them the Hey, my slide is not bad. Monitor and follow up on audit recommendations. Sometimes you need to monitor and follow up on the recommendations you're giving to management. So please, and when you give them, they're going to put it down. Oh, you just put it on the shelf. They're training next quarter or next year. You need to also monitor. It's also part of, you can report on a monitoring exercise. Is it okay? So there's no way. So, see, people are doing monitoring and evaluation. As auditors, you can do monitoring and follow up. So you have to have a budget for that. If they want to go to, Asangogwa, or last year, or they went there, I want to go and see whether they do monitoring and then go and monitor whatever they do. But that's all the other people are doing and they are getting funds to do. You also have to do monitoring and follow up on all recommendations, whether they are doing, and then help them when they are not able to do it. The follow-up audits report very nicely on it. There's a new template from IA, partly implemented, not implemented, and you take the lines and all those things nicely down. The status of the implementations and all those things are there. Verification and inspection reports. Hey, that one I didn't talk about the verification. You have to do verification. Sometimes you do verification. Straight from the report on that. Sometimes you have to use letterhead or memo. So it can be on a letterhead or a memo sheet. Introduction must be there. The background must be there. The scope, methodology that you use to go and do the verification, and then your summary findings. This time not the executive, but there's a summary, 2 or 3 points, bullet points that you got. Then your detailed finding on your verification. Asked to go and verify the ties. You have to check whether the ties are snow ties. When are they going to expire? You go there, go and see, ties are 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go and sign. No, this day you stop those verifications. You have to check. Are the ties good for the country? What are the the batch numbers and those where they came from? These are smuggled ties and all. You have to find out are they snow ties, the expiry dates on the ties and all. Are they fit for the vehicle, the specification and all those things? So you have to report back a very nice document. Don't go say no, I'll sign the SR, I'll sign the SR. Then there's a fight. No, report on it. These are your findings in the report. Then I'll give you the memo. If you want to still pay, you want to go and pay, and you based on this fine, you still want to pay. That one is management. Let's not stop management from paying, but let them tell them why they shouldn't pay. You can tell management why they shouldn't pay, why you think that you're not giving them. They are supposed to get assurance from us. Objective assurance. Accountants can't give objective assurance because they are part of the system. But we are independent, we don't do the thing. So we can give them that objective assurance. But don't be a cantankerous auditor that is always, no, don't take your objective assurance. But then, because of this, that, you can't pay for these ties. These are snow ties. These ties are not fit for the vehicle. When you say you sign, there's some fighting, they just didn't written notice. They're afraid of written things. Because when something happened, you have a documentary proof to that. I told them that that's what the investigative agencies want. Once you showed, good auditor, they just okay, you can go. And then they're not dealing with the people. Unless they add it to you, they add it to the thing, and then they'll leave them. It's you that they can beat. The recommendation that you recommend that this item should not be purchased, or this item should be returned for it to, based on this. Then you give a recommendation and then it's gone. But when you say, I won't sign, and then there's a fight, auditor says he's not signing. No, that's what auditor is saying. There's issues. So give them the issues. Once they solve the issues, you will sign. Simple. But when you talk plain, sometimes not all of us know how to talk. So sometimes the talking becomes fight. But when you tell them that based on this inspection, based on these things, you sign and just give. Sometimes another auditor will go and sign. It happens. Auditors, when you're in the system, could you sign, come and sign. Don't get angry with the auditor, but at least protect yourself that I gave this, and leave it there. Then conclusions and appendices, if you want to add appendices, you can add and all those things for it. Then assurance and pre-audit reports, those who are still doing pre-auditing report. It's good to have a report on your pre-audits. It's very good. Or the assurances that you sometimes they bring you some certain memos. They refer to you certain documents to advise, or maybe the CEO asks you advise me or advise management is good. All those things that it's good to write on the memo. You can advise them. Sometimes, chief, can go ahead and pay. I don't think it's enough. It's not enough. Based on my experiences, I was at Zongo Sumo, so based on my experiences, it's not easy to just add it to the memo and just go. English, he said advice. So tell him something, why he should sign. If you are agreeing to it, at least let him know why A, B, C, D. Because that's what the lawyers will ask you. Based on what? So whatever you are basing it on, let them know. If you can go on the memo sheet, fine. They can write it there nicely, the advice there. So that one to that memo and the number of pre-audits that you've done, monthly audits, just list of all of them. Some of them you queried it or you raised an observation. Have it in a report. It helps. Because some of these PVs end up becoming cantankerous. And sometimes you put a small sticker on it. All the time say that then they've gone. But always have this monthly report to your superiors that you did 10 PVs or 15 PVs that came. This is the assurances you provide, savings that you made. A very nice report, which is always very good. Our job is becoming increasingly very difficult, but you need to be more, certification and or you stop doing pre-audit. Some people have stopped doing it. When you stop doing it, when there's an issue, but then they will ask whether you have done your post-audit for that one year, whether you have gone to, you're supposed to do quarterly. Why a quarterly report? Have you seen? If you don't have it there, then they'll add it to it. Is it okay? Submission or report. The submission or report, please, the auditee, sometimes you want to do a section. Let them know what you're taking away. So sometimes report to them, maybe not the whole report, but the observation that you do, let them have it. So at least they know that they can also respond to it. They have a head. You can also report to the head and the head, look at some of the things they say, one can hear. The head will put it in, no, it's not like that. And the head will put it in shape. But let them know. Because you go and do an audit in a place, they don't know what happened, they don't know it. All they know is that people say, give me this book, give me that, give me this. Then that's how they hear. It's not good. So let's always have, if it's a section, it's a unit, it's a department, it's a directorate, it's a whole division. Let's get that, observation to them or the draft, to them for them to look at it, respond, and then get management response at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's a management response that you need. But at least they can also give initial responses here and there, building up your case for you clearly. As auditors or internal auditors are supposed to report to the audit committee or the board. That makes you independent. When you report your function to your institution, then you're in trouble. But your independence lies in you reporting functionally to the audit committee or the board through the audit committee, depending on the private sector, government sector, and all those places. That makes you independent. But administratively, you must report to your spending officer. Leave, you can leave. You don't just get up and say, I'm going to leave. So you have to go administratively, if there are clock-ins or attendance book and all those things, you have to do some. You're not a tiny God in your own. No. You still have to go through administrative, things and issues. But then when it's on your function, what do you do? That one is audit committee. But you can't just go and give audit committee report that your boss, talk about. So sometimes, as you are going, make sure your overall board, the one you report administratively, also has a copy. It helps. Even though you have given them the draft without responses, they've responded. So when you have added a response and you are finally reporting functionality to the committee, and at least let your boss to get some. Is it okay? It's good. It's good. And then the conclusions that you have come, they know. And they go, okay, even though I gave him the response, when he ain't free, still but he has captured my responses there. This is we should do verbatim their responses. So, but please don't do verbatim response when there's errors in it. Otherwise, it's your report. If you know there's error, go and correct it. or you correct it in your report. Because you can't write there was or something grammatical mistake there, and then you still write as well as say verbatim. So you also do the same thing. No, fine. You can correct with a notice that this thing came, but I think that this is not right thing. But it is something factual is not factual. But a fact there is not a fact. Please, that one they have to get back to them and say, oh, you said this thing, but no, it's not. Don't put that thing there. You know that this thing is not fact. No, let them know that. But if they say still it is, then they should prove it to you. Is it okay? Because some people are very cantankerous. You leave it there, then you conclude that instead that you still disagree with their response that the thing is not there. But some people who want to struggle, don't struggle with them, just come and put it in. That is your report, put in your conclusion, and then charge for me. Battery is going down. Distribution goes there, then the drafts. The final report is done, and then audit committee gets it. You copy the principal spending officer, and then you expect that he will also give it to management. If he says you should copy management, then you copy management. You don't report to management, but at least you report to the particular administrative person. You give me a copy. Then he now decide to give management. But remember, sometimes they can forget. So my chief, you share it to management, so at least they also know. Because they know the draft already, so they know what is there, but just that the final one is what they're not aware. Some bosses will not distribute, but remind them, some bosses will not share. Or the committee can solve that issue, but don't go and solve that issue. You can't copy. Fine, if that is the system, in place that when you copy your spending officer, you copy when you send your spending officer, copy management, then you've not breached. But there are some people who are particular that they don't do those things. So you know the system that you are in. If it's something that you are copying people, then if it's a draft, that's a different thing. But when it's a final report, administrative report, you know who you report to, functional, you know who you report to. So if you are copying people, you have to be very careful how that copy. You can end it somewhere, as I said. But if the system in a place that, for here, when you are copying the chief executive, he wants you to copy this management personnel, then that one, but that is good to tell him. If you say, give them copy, you can also ask the chief, can I copy them? At least be cool, close with your administrative, your head. They say, copy them, then you copy them. But sometimes you can't copy them with that. So he will ask them to do the action. So he has to copy them and ask them to do the action. So he can give an actionable area. That's what we did the minister. We started giving the minister actionable areas. So he doesn't read the whole report. But he gets the actionable areas. Then he knows that, give a memo to this. We'll call this person to, so that he knows that, this is what I'm supposed to do as my part of it. Okay. Well, they don't have the whole report, but they have their, so the institution, is okay. But some of the public institutions will do that. That's very careful. That's very careful how you go really about those things. And then if you have to report it to the board, the regulator, whoever regulates the institution, like the public service, you have to report quarterly to the II. So it means your internal audit agency must receive your copy of the report. That must go there. The auditor general must get a copy of that report. But when they come, he wants to go answer the report. I said, we give you a copy, but you come for your audit. You want to ask another copy. So what is going on? So they have started giving them soft. So when you can say, okay, you give me your email, I'll send it to you. Stop. This is a photocopy and printing is becoming because So the people who are copy the principal assessment officers, audit committee chair, the director general audit service, audit team members. Sometimes we forget to team members know the report. Please, if you go and do a report to the team, you're the team leader. Don't leave your other team members out. So that they don't know whatever reports it came out of the audit. Let them know. They are team members report. Yes, the team leader is, when you finish the report, the final one, let them also have a copy. While the copy is kept on file or is in a permanent file or whatever file is, let them also have access to it. It's also good for them. Sometimes you go to do some, when you go for monitoring on internal audit units or you do quality assurance, they complain that this audit, they didn't even know that their finding is not there. They got this finding. If you take out a finding, let them know why you're taking it out. You are the leader. This. Unless they have something in their mind that they so let them know that because of this, or they gave this documentation for taking it out. That's why this is what. Then the others are getting what others are saying that they are following our reports. The FE, OSP. Sometimes they are supposed to report NACAP and the section assessment and all those are reporting on those things. So this report should some of these work has now become very big.
Mute who phone, mute who mic, mute who mic. You wouldn't know yet.
Audit functions are most effective when audits are strategically planned, professionally executed, and clearly reported. This ensures that audit results drive improvement, accountability across. Let's make sure that we have a strategic plan in place. Our annual plans also there, and then our work plans, we go according to our work plans. Yes, there can be surprise or some assignment that comes about the way. Yes, make provision for that. But at least we should stop this witch hunting and emotional on the spell, audits and all those things. Conducting effective audits is not only about finding gaps, it's about adding value, enhancing transparency, and fostering accountability. Let's make sure. Sometimes I work that the nepotism and all those things. Sometimes let's report on that. If you're able to investigate, if you can't audit that one, but if you can audit that one, you have evidence. Let's bring it out. This favoritism and all those going on. The structures don't work. The head there, people who are deputy were supposed to do something, but bypassing somebody else. It's a control. An individual put in a place is a control. To the head there is a control that they put in place. Not just there, it's a control. Somebody employed is a control. There's an employee, they have a job schedule, they have a job description that they put out there. It's the person doing it. It's not doing it, and the control is being breached. You can report on it, and then things are being done very nicely. An audit report is more than documentation, it's a tool for change. Let's know that our audit report is a tool for change. Because the call for action we are asking for is a change. And some people don't like change. So you also have to know how to manage that change that you are calling for. Very key. An audit report is not formality, it's a leadership to use to educate, influence, and improve. So that tool is for, that's why you have to give it to the spending officer, the committee, the leadership have to take it, and then they drive through that, whatever needs to be done, the training, the education, what they have to influence. Sometimes you need the minister to go there. Sometimes I've required the minister to at least visit offices. Sometimes a minister can come for years. He has not even visited offices before. I say, just once I pass through, not every like offer this road this time. Then this time it's a very good effective control tool. Just on the spot, just pass them, read them, see what is going on, what they are doing. It changes a lot of things. Focus on clarity, risks, impact. Then the clarity, then the risks. Focus on the risks, that the consequences, the impact. Deliver value through actionable insights. Be the voice for improvement. Your voice should be in voice for improvement, not just compliance. Let things be improving in the system. If people have not been promoted for a long year, report on it. When they are sat in the same chair, no training for the person, report on that. Are you getting it? Not the be among for years, at least, other areas to that you can really, social environmental audit, go there and just do it also there. A whole area of audit, everywhere you can audit. There's nowhere, it's only in the hospitals I was stopped from doing that audit. They said, no, that one they don't like it. So the negligence, the woman lied to them, say, no, they can't do that audit. This audit, say, no, don't allow you. So, but you're entitled to do all the audits wherever it is. Thank you very much for your attention for this audit. And time for questions and answer, questions and comments. If there are any question and comment, the floor is open. Yeah, the online, if you have a question, you raise your hands or you unmute yourself, ask a question or a comment to do. We didn't start early, Okay.
So you have the funding at your condition matter, then you bring part of information up to somebody. I think that is it. But sometimes you can base on one funding for a long time. Someone will be using to it will take a long time before it goes to the next manuscript. So I think that is why maybe sometimes you have to do the appendix.
Okay.
But I would also like what you say you should do that. To bring everything once you finish that, you finish. Because reading a report, then you have to flip back to go and look at appendix at that side before you come back to that is also difficult. So I think that if you put everything together in one, once you finish the appendix, you finish. I think it will be nice.
That's a good suggestion. But ask that you said if it's too long. So if it's too long, send the long ones to the appendix. But always if it's short, just one picture or just half a page, a table. Some table can be 3 tables, three pages. If it's very long, then you can do it appendix. But when it's very short, just add it to the condition in the finding.
It's also possible, since it's a Word document, Word PDF, there are some, you can include some links in it where once you click on it, to jump you directly to the direct appendix to our report, maybe with the report, and you want to know what is in the appendix. So within the report overall, then you can put a link where once you click on it, to take you directly to the appendix.
So don't read online. Don't read online.
If it's on paper,
So electronic reading. Electronic reading that you have. Yes. Okay, let me check the chat box whether there's a question there. Chat box. Okay, no question on the chat box. Okay. I don't know whether there's any online, any question from online. I see my colleague Nicholas. Any question? I see JB Dawara, Ganov District Society. JB, any question? Can the slides be shared?
No question.
Okay. I think the society will decide. So the answer, the society will decide. Those online, I don't know about those online, but the society will decide. Well, those who have emails, I think the society will send it to your email. So rest assured, you'll get the slides. Any question, any comment? Yes.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'll do that. There's a small one that can be shared. So I'll send it. When I'm sending the slides, I'll send it to him and then it's shared. But you can get the whole thing. I think you can buy it from the Institute of Internal Auditors website. The big, but they have scaled it down to very small that, you don't have to read plenty, but then the standards are there, 16 of them that you can really, go by, how to manage the internal audit unit, the governance and all those things that are there.
Hello, good afternoon.
Well, some of these things, and these standards, there are standard guidelines. Then when the level is a function, then ask a question. Mr. Bonney, please, what is your opinion on the same internal audit units, meaning the spray audit and the push audit function at the same time?
In my place, I do it. So the one who does pre-audit doesn't do post-audit. So what I've done is that those who do pre, if you did pre of a particular project, when you're going to do post, you need the same person to do it. Another team, will go and do it. So that's the way I'm able to manage it. The same people don't do the pre and go and do post. They will not have any control in place. But it's one auditor in the place, he's doing the pre and he's forced to do the post. But when you have more staff, in the system, then you can just have to make sure that then rotate every year. If you did this particular, every year there are a lot of the directory. So this person is doing this directory. Next year, I'll change. Another person goes there, and then But if you do pre, you won't do the post. That's the way I'm able to cure the issue of the pre. We are hoping that the pre will go, but some people still like the pre. I like the pre when it comes in the form of a memo for me to advise, but not when it's PV. Oh, don't like that aspect. Well, I've suffered when you've signed a PV, when it's something that they add it to it. But when it is the memo stage and they're asking you your comment or advice, then you give up. But when it comes for payment, you've done the thing already, you've done the wrong things. Now I have to help you to correct the wrong things. But when it is in the process, the PV is done. That one is a very good, assurance that I'm giving. But the payment is the accountant. We are trying. It's just that is the old system of thinking. So I'm hoping that the time will come when you go to the gift mix. It's inbuilt. The pre is inbuilt in there. So don't wait till you're going to do payment. That's what they do. So that's how they also have to do it. But it looks like the accountant wants them to